lying quietly inside. Everyone held their breath. This item is the size of a human head, constantly pulsating, like a blood-red heart with life. Titan's heart, epic consumable. Description: the heart left behind by an ancient Titan, containing immense mechanical modification energy. Upon use, it can directly upgrade your ship, Tier 5 and above, but below Tier 8 only, by 1 level. The ship has been upgraded a whole level. Everyone gasped. This means we can skip levels 6 and 7 and directly upgrade the Great Wall at Sea to an even more terrifying level. Titan artifacts, terrifying beyond belief. Jiang Yi glanced at the pretty faces around him, all flushed with excitement. His gaze finally settled on the adorable class monitor who had been keeping her head down, nervously clutching the hem of her clothes and avoiding his eyes. He smiled and slowly walked up to Wenruan. Amidst the puzzled, surprised, envious, and jealous gazes of everyone, Jiang Yi reached out in front of everyone and gently lifted Wenruan's small face, which appeared even more pitiful due to her panic. He looked into her misty, almond-shaped eyes, his voice gentler than ever before. Ruan, do you remember the even bigger reward I promised you yesterday? Oh. Ruan was overjoyed. Yeah, I knew it. The class monitor definitely remembers. He won't forget. Chapter 35, When Ruan's Reward is So Sweet. The entire room fell silent. All eyes were fixed on the man and woman in the center of the camp. Jiang Ye's fingers were warm and strong as he gently lifted Wenruan's chin. The class representative, who was usually as shy as a little rabbit, was now looking up with her face flushed red, her misty peach blossom eyes filled with panic, helplessness, and a hint of expectation that she herself didn't even realize. Class monitor. Wenruan's voice was trembling, and her brain completely shut down. What did he just say? An even bigger reward? Gulp. Someone swallowed, breaking the eerie silence. The crowd erupted in chaos the next second. Holy crap, what did I just hear? The class monitor is so direct. My ship is real. I knew it. I knew Ruan's love fortune was destined for the class monitor. You didn't believe me. The girls chattered excitedly, their pretty faces beaming with anticipation. Ying Yao's face puffed up like a bun with anger as she glared fiercely at Jiang Ye's back, her teeth almost grinding to powder. That big bastard. That big liar. Yesterday he was taking advantage of himself on the lookout tower, and today he's flirting with Wenruan in public. The little crimson gold dragon beside her seemed to sense its master's anger, and bared its teeth, letting out a threatening woof woof. Dragon Dad bad. Dragon Dad is a bad dad. When Sa had a "I knew it" look on her face, crossed her arms, and looked at her older sister triumphantly. Go ahead, my silly sister. Take him down. Lin Jixia stood not far away, watching this scene. A complex emotion flashed across her gentle eyes, but more than that, she showed understanding and a doting smile. She gently shook her head. This little man really doesn't know how to hide anything. But that's fine too. For these girls with different thoughts and feelings, it's a good thing to establish rules early on. Amidst the murmurs of the crowd, Jiang Yi seemed not to hear anything. His gaze remained fixed on Wenruan the entire time. Let's go. He let go of her hand, then took Wenruan's cold little hand in his, and led her toward the Great Wall of the Sea, docked at the shore. Class monitor. What? What are you going to do? A bolder girl asked, egging them on. Jiang Yi turned around and gave them a bright, sunny smile. Give them a reward. 2 words, light and airy, yet full of undeniable meaning. Wenruan was led by him, taking small, quick steps behind him, her head almost buried in his chest. She could feel dozens of envious, jealous, or gossipy gazes shining on her back like searchlights. Her cheeks were so hot they could fry an egg on them. My heart was pounding wildly, as if it were about to jump out of my throat. Oh no, now everyone knows. They probably don't imagine those kinds of scenes in their minds. Those bastards are awful. Go for it, sis. Behind him came the powerful shouts of encouragement from his younger sister, Wensa. Wenruan stumbled and almost fell on the spot. That idiot is so cool. Soon, the two boarded the Great Wall at Sea. Compared to the rudimentary temporary camp on the island, the boat was undoubtedly much more comfortable. Jiang Yi didn't linger on the deck. He pulled Wenruan directly into his own captain's cabin. Bang! The door was closed, shutting out all the noise and stares from outside. In the cramped space, only the clearly audible heartbeats and breathing of the two people remained. The atmosphere suddenly became ambiguous. Wenruan was so nervous that her palms were sweating. She stood at the door, fidgeting with the hem of her clothes, not daring to move. She didn't dare to look at Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi burst out laughing when he saw her looking like a quail. He didn't rush to do anything. Instead, he walked to the table, took out an unlimited supply of purified water from his backpack, and poured 2 glasses. Here, have some water to calm your nerves. He handed one of the cups over. Wenruan cautiously raised her head and saw the gentle smile on his face, which seemed to ease some of her tension. She reached out her trembling hand to take the water glass and took a small sip. Thank you, class monitor. Still calling him class monitor? Jiang Yi raised an eyebrow. Huh. Wenruan was taken aback, her face turning red again. Then, Jiang Yi. Sigh. Jiang Yi responded, pulled out a chair and sat down, looking at her with a leisurely air. Why are you standing? Sit down. He pointed to the spot next to his bed. Wenruan's body stiffened, and she moved over hesitantly, only daring to touch half of her buttocks to the edge of the bed, sitting upright. Ruan. Jiang Yi suddenly spoke. Exist. Wenruan straightened her back abruptly, like a primary school student being called on in class. Uffed. Jiang Yi finally couldn't help but laugh out loud. His smile made Wenruan realize how silly her reaction was, and she was immediately ashamed. All right, I won't tease you anymore. Jiang Yi's smile faded, and his tone became serious. Do you know why I said I would give you an even bigger reward? Wenruan shook her head, then seemed to have thought of something, and said softly. Because I drew the most auspicious fortune slip, right? Yes, but not entirely. Jiang Yi looked into her clear and innocent peach blossom eyes. Your luck was truly the biggest contributor to unlocking the heart of Titan. But for me, this reward should have been given to you the first time you drew the ominous sign, reminding us to avoid the monster. It should have been given to you every time you used your talent to guide our ship and bring good luck. His voice was soft and gentle, like a feather, lightly scratching at Wenruan's heart. Wenruan's eyes immediately turned red. So he had always kept it in his heart. She always thought she was useless, that her talent could only be used once a day, unlike Ying Yao and Sa who could fight and protect everyone. All she could do was draw a lot. So, Jiang Yi stood up and walked step by step to her, squatted down, and looked at her eye level as she sat down. This reward is not temporary, but permanent. He gazed into her eyes and spoke, each word distinct and clear. Wenruan, would you be my woman? To become the second mistress of this ship, after Sister Jixia. Boom. Wenruan felt as if the whole world had exploded with dazzling fireworks. Tears could no longer be held back, falling like pearls from a broken string. It wasn't because she felt wronged, but because of an overwhelming happiness that almost drowned her. She had waited for those words for far too long. Ever since I first saw that boy earnestly painting in the sunlight in the art studio during high school, I've been waiting. She thought this unrequited love would be like a treasure in the deep sea, never to see the light of day. Unexpectedly. I do. I like you. Jiang Yi, I like you. I really, really, really like you. She choked back tears, and with almost all her strength, she managed to utter these words in one breath. The moment she finished speaking, she was embraced tightly by a warm and strong hug. The pleasant, sunny scent emanating from Jiang Yi instantly enveloped her. Leaning against his strong chest, listening to his steady and powerful heartbeat, Wenruan felt as if she had found a ship that had found its home. All her unease and fear vanished in that moment. Fool, why are you crying? Jiang Yi gently stroked her back, lowered his head, and kissed away the tears on her cheeks. Wenruan's body trembled, and her cheeks turned as red as if they could bleed. She closed her eyes shyly, her long eyelashes fluttering gently like butterfly wings. Jiang Yi did not take any further actions. He simply held her quietly, feeling the softness and dependence of the girl in his arms. From today onwards, you are my second lucky star. His voice whispered in her ear. Wenruan responded in a barely audible voice from his arms. Then, Overwhelmed by immense happiness and a day of intense tension, her eyes rolled back and her head lolled to one side. She fainted from the sweetness. Jiangyi. No, I'm just having fun. Holy crap, you can do that. Will my path to having many children always be this winding? Looking at the girl in his arms, breathing steadily and with a silly smile on her lips, Jiangyi shook his head helplessly. This psychological resilience needs to be strengthened. He carefully picked up Wenruan, gently placed her on his bed, and covered her with a light blanket. After doing all this, he turned to look out the window. Night had fallen, but the excited chatter of the girls could still be heard on the deck. Jiang Ye's lips curled into a meaningful smile. Starting tonight, the landscape of this ship will be redefined once again. And he may also be about to have his third opportunity for infinite transformation. P.S. Did any of you make it this far? The adorable Wenruan misses you all. Click the yellow "Remind me to update" button at the end. If we reach 200 reads, there will be 3 chapters tomorrow. So let the shy Wenruan hiding in the back quickly make her appearance. Oh, oh. Chapter 36, a level 6 navigation ship. The Pengu. The next morning, Wenruan woke up to the aroma of food. She opened her eyes groggily, and the first thing she saw was an unfamiliar ceiling. Where's this? She sat up abruptly and found herself lying on a bed that wasn't spacious, but was very clean and tidy. She was covered with a thin blanket that smelled faintly of sunshine. This isn't my room. Woke up. A cheerful voice came from the side. Wenruan turned her head and saw Jiangyi sitting at the table, holding a compressed biscuit in his hand, eating it slowly and deliberately. The morning light streamed in through the window, illuminating his sharply defined profile and giving him a golden glow. Ban Jiangyi. Wenruan's face flushed red instantly as memories of last night flooded back. She actually fainted in Jiang Ye's arms. She slept in his bed. Good morning. Jiang Ye smiled at her. Did you sleep well? Aye. Wenruan was so nervous that she could hardly speak, and subconsciously checked her clothes. Intact and undamaged. She immediately breathed a sigh of relief, but for some reason, she felt a little bit disappointed. Don't worry, I haven't done anything bad to the great hero on our ship. Jiang Yi saw through her little scheme and teased her. Wenruan's face turned even redder, and she wished she could disappear into a crack in the ground. Knock, knock, knock. Just then, there was a knock on the captain's cabin door. Sis, silly sister, are you awake yet? The sun's already high in the sky. It was Wensa's voice. I'm here. Wenruan quickly responded, jumping off the bed in a panic like a startled rabbit. I'll go out first. She dared not look at Jiang Yi again, and ran to open the door as if fleeing, only to be pulled out by Wensa, who was already waiting outside. Several girls were peering in from outside the door. Upon seeing Wenruan emerge, they immediately burst into knowing laughter. Ruan, how was your reward last night? Tell us about it. That's right. Did the class monitor do anything to you? We hear you chanting good fortune all day long, so tell us, is it actually that good or not? Listening to her sister's increasingly explicit teasing, Wenruan was so embarrassed she felt like she was about to evaporate on the spot. Finally, protected by Wensa, they fled in disarray. Jiang Yi watched this scene, smiled, and shook his head. After breakfast, he gathered everyone on the deck. After a night of fermentation, almost everyone knew that Wenruan and Jiang Ye's relationship had taken a step further. The gazes directed at Wenruan were filled with envy and goodwill. Wenruan, though still shy, had an undeniable sweetness and peace in her eyes. All right, let's get down to business. Jiang Yi clapped his hands, drawing everyone's attention. He took out the blood-red heart, which was still beating, from his backpack. Titan's heart, epic consumable. We got this yesterday. According to the description, it can directly upgrade our ship by 1 level. Now, I've decided to use it right away. Jiang Ye's words excited everyone. Ship upgrade. This means more space, stronger defenses, and a more comfortable living environment. As for saving it for later, let's forget about that. After all, no one knows when danger will strike, and even the best treasures are only truly valuable if they are used. Amidst everyone's expectant gazes, Jiang Yi walked to the captain's seat and gently placed the heart of Titan into the slot originally used to insert the storm core. Buzz! A deep rumble resounded. The crimson heart of Titan seemed to come alive, instantly transforming into countless streams of crimson light that flowed into every corner of the ship's hull along the grooves. The entire Great Wall at sea was enveloped in a thick layer of bloody light. The deck was shaking, the hull was stretching, and the planks and steel were creaking and groaning, as if the skeleton was being reshaped. Everyone instinctively grabbed onto whatever was around them to steady themselves, watching in awe at this miraculous scene. The light lasted for a full minute before gradually fading away. When everyone saw the scene before them again, they all gasped in shock. Is this still their original ship? The original 5th class Great Wall at Sea ship, although it had already taken shape, still looked like a huge wooden raft. And now it has completely transformed into a real ship. A giant ship full of streamlined beauty, combining classical and technological styles. The ship is estimated to be over 100 meters long and 30 meters wide, resembling a small, floating island on the sea. The deck was no longer just a simple wooden plank, but covered with a layer of strange wood that shimmered with a metallic sheen. On both sides of the ship, there were even crenellations and watchtowers resembling those of a city wall. What was originally a 2-story ship has now been transformed into a magnificent 3-story building. Oh my God! This is way too outrageous. Are we on a warship now? Jiang Yi was equally shocked, and he immediately brought up the ship's attribute panel. Vessel name: Great Wall at Sea, subject to change. Ship class: Tier 6 sailing ship. Dimensions: 100 meters long, 30 meters wide. Durability: 50,000/50,000, reinforced by Titan's power, greatly increasing defense. Wave resistance: 4,500, can withstand moderate tsunamis. Special modules: Tier 2 armory, fine iron forging station, large kitchen, medical room, crew quarters, 50 rooms, independent captain's cabin, conference room, basic eco park, new. Figurehead, not activated. Propulsion system: simple sail, current speed 5 knots. Module to be upgraded: Tier 2 power core, epic. Upon seeing this string of luxurious attributes, Jiang Yi's breathing became rapid. A Class 6 ship. This attribute is a qualitative leap. And there's also a new, basic ecological park. Plant-friendly. Xiang Wanqing's eyes lit up instantly when she looked at the transparent glass room labeled Ecological Garden. There's soil in there. Her talent can finally be put to good use. Now that the ship has been completely transformed, it should have an official name, Lin Jixia suggested with a smile as she walked over to Jiang Yi. Great Wall at Sea is just the name of the blueprint. Now it should bear our own mark. We want to shape it into our own form. Jiang Yi nodded, agreeing wholeheartedly. He pondered for a moment, his gaze sweeping over the hopeful, innocent faces before finally settling on the ship's dashboard. From today onwards, it will be called Pengu. Pengu's separated heaven and earth, and they will create their own new world on this endless ocean. Pengu. What a great name. That's so awesome. Everyone cheered. Amidst the joyful atmosphere, Lin Jixia calmly pointed out the problem by pointing to the last line of the panel. Jiang Yi, look here. Module to be upgraded. Tier 2 power core, epic. Materials required: 1,000 rainbow glazed wood, 1 spider queen's core, 5 storm cores, 5,000 refined iron, 10,000 charcoal. Although we now have a giant ship, the propulsion system is still the sail, which can only slowly drift with the waves. To truly unleash the power of the Pengu and reach the rich areas of the Rainbow Sea according to the map, we must build this power core as soon as possible. Lin Jixia's words calmed the excited crowd down. Yes, no matter how big a ship is, if it can't sail itself, it's just a magnificent target. Jiang Yi looked at the list of materials. The quantity of the 7-color glass which should not be a problem after we finish exploring this island. The Spider Queen's core, refined iron, and charcoal are not problems either. The only difficulty is the Storm core, *5. You'll only receive one of these as a reward if you successfully defend against a tsunami. In other words, they would have to endure at least 5 more tsunamis? That's been way too long. Just as Jiang Yi was frowning in thought, Su Tao, who had been on guard duty, suddenly exclaimed from the highest observation platform. Class monitor. Teacher Lin. Look, our ship seems to have drifted into a strange place. There seems to be another ship ahead. Chapter 37. A fat sheep has run into us? Then don't leave. Hearing Su Tao shout, everyone's hearts tightened, and they immediately ran to the ship's side to look ahead. The Pangu ship had drifted away from the waters near Rainbow Island at some point. The surrounding seawater was no longer colorful, but had turned an eerie grayish-white, with many shipwrecks and broken planks floating on the surface. A faint smell of blood and gunpowder permeated the air. About a kilometer directly in front of them, on the sea, stood a completely black-armed ship with a ferocious wolf's head hanging on its bow. Dozens of men, bare-chested and armed with various weapons, stood on the deck of the ship. They looked fierce and menacing, exuding the air of pirates. They are other survivors. Judging from their appearance, they don't seem to have good intentions. The girls immediately tensed up and gripped their fine iron crossbows tightly. Don't panic. Jiang Ye's voice was calm and powerful, reassuring everyone. He picked up his binoculars and carefully observed the ship, named Wolf Fong. At the same time, the people on the Wolf Fong also discovered the Pangu ship, a huge vessel that had suddenly intruded. Boss, look, what a huge ship. One of the henchmen shouted excitedly to a one-eyed giant wearing an eye patch in the middle of the deck. One-eyed dragon snatched the binoculars. When he saw that the people standing on the Pangu were actually a group of young and beautiful girls in revealing uniforms, a greedy glint of desire instantly flashed in his one-eyed pupils. Especially Jiang Yi and Lin Jixia, who stood at the bow of the ship, one handsome and extraordinary, the other charming and alluring, were simply the best of the best. Little Nanyang, hee. Damn, I'm rich. The one-eyed man grinned maliciously, put down his binoculars, and roared at his men. Drive over there. We're going to have a good meal today. Oh, whoa. The pirates let out excited wolf howls. Soon, the Wolf Fong took the initiative to approach and stopped less than 500 meters away from the Pangu. The one-eyed man stood at the bow of the boat, looking down at Jiang Yi and shouting, Hey, you pretty boy on that ship over there. This blood-red graveyard is my territory, Black Wolf Wang Kuei's territory. There seem to be quite a few women on your boat, so they're probably newcomers. All right, hand over half of your women and all your supplies, and I'll spare your lives since I'm in a good mood today. The pirates behind him also burst into filthy laughter, their eyes roaming unabashedly over the girls' curvaceous bodies. The girls on the Pangu had never suffered such humiliation. They were all so angry that their pretty faces turned red, and they wished they could shoot the crossbow bolts in their hands immediately. Ying Yao retorted directly, Pa, where did this one-eyed, ugly monster come from? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror to see what kind of person you are? Oh ho, she's got a fiery temper, isn't she? Instead of being angry, Wang Kuei, the one-eyed dragon, laughed, his greedy gaze lingering on Ying Yao's voluptuous figure. I like her. I'm going to have this girl. However, Jiang Ye's expression remained unchanged throughout. He didn't even bother to reply. The moment the opponent appeared, he had already activated Weakness Insight. Ship, Tier 5 Armed Ship Wolf Fong. Durability, 1250/2000. Severe corrosion exists on the keel. Captain, Wang Kuei. Talent, C rank, Berserk. Weaknesses, extreme arrogance, underestimating the enemy and acting rashly. Blindness in the right eye results in a large blind spot on the right side of the field of vision. A 5th-class ship? That's it. Jiang Ye's lips curled into a wicked smirk. I was worried about where to find materials and storm core, but someone actually delivered them to my door. I wonder if killing the captain and seizing the ship will grant me the heart of the storm. Jixia. Jiang Yi spoke softly without turning his head. I'm here, Lin Jixia replied immediately, having already seen through the other party's bluff. Are your shrimp soldiers and crab generals hungry? Lin Jixia was incredibly intelligent and instantly understood Jiang Ye's meaning. A hint of murderous intent flashed in her intelligent and beautiful eyes. They must be eager to try it out. Then let's get started. Jiang Ye's voice was very calm. as if he were talking about a trivial matter. Good. Lin Zhixiao raised her delicate hand, and her spiritual power surged instantly. Epic skill, shrimp soldiers and crab generals. In an instant, countless dark shadows surged in the seawater below the Pangu. Giant crabs, each the size of a millstone, brandished their steel-like claws, while shrimp soldiers, each wielding a trident and covered in carapace, silently surrounded the hull of the Wolf Fong like a ghostly army. Let's do it. Lin Zhixia gave the order. Snap. Uft. Without the crew of the Wolf Fong realizing it, their already severely corroded hull was instantly pierced by hundreds of shrimp soldiers and crab generals in the most violent way, leaving hundreds of hideous holes. The icy seawater seemed to have found an outlet, and it poured wildly into the cabin. Huh? What's going on? Why is the boat rocking so badly? Oh no, boss. The cabin is flooded. Holy crap. What a huge hole. It can't be stopped. The pirates on deck were swaggering around 1 second, and the next they were in complete chaos. The ship is tilting and sinking at a speed visible to the naked eye. How is this possible? One-eyed dragon King Kuei was both shocked and furious. He had no idea what was happening. How could our ship suddenly sink? It was you. It was you who did this. Wang Kuei suddenly looked up, staring intently at the composed Jiang Yi with his single eye, and let out a beast-like roar. Put the grappling hooks on them. Get on their ship. Kill them. The women and everything on the ship will be ours. The final frenzy has begun. More than a dozen ropes with barbs were thrown onto the side of the Pangu ship. The pirates howled and climbed up the rope like ants. Looking at those ferocious faces, Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, and the others showed no fear, but instead smiled. Finally, we can start killing. Jiang Yi slowly drew the fine iron longsword from his waist, the tip of the sword pointing diagonally downwards, his eyes as cold as ice. I would be impolite to refuse materials that are delivered to my door. Remember, the captain stays behind. He paused, then added, his head should be able to grab a storm cord. Chapter 38, A Crushing Victory. Welcome to the fish pond. Kill them all. One-eyed dragon King Kuei let out a final roar, his eyes turning blood red as he went completely mad. The Wolf Fong is sinking, and the only way to survive is to seize this magnificent giant ship in front of us. The pirates' eyes gleamed with the madness of desperados as they howled and climbed up the grappling hooks. The first pirate to climb onto the ship's side had a ferocious grin on his face, as if to say, I'm rich now. The next second, his smile froze. Bang! A muffled thud. A massive iron shield, taller than a person, was slammed into his face like a fly being swatted. The immense force smashed his face into a bloody mess, sending him flying in a parabolic arc before he crashed into the sea and vanished instantly. Zhou Ling shook his slightly numb arm and slammed the tower shield heavily onto the deck, making a loud thud. She grinned, revealing a set of white teeth, and shouted energetically, "Ha! Come on, next one. I'll do it." A dark shadow flashed by like a ghost. The second pirate who climbed up felt a chill on his neck. Before he could even see who had done it, the light in his eyes quickly faded, and he slid down limply. Wen Sa's figure reappeared a few meters away. She shook the blood droplets off her fine iron short sword, her small face cold and her eyes sharp as an eagle. Too slow. She glanced at Zhou Ling, her words carrying a hint of provocation. You. Zhou Ling was about to retort. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 more whooshing sounds rang out. The 3 pirates who had just emerged had bloody holes explode on their foreheads, their bodies stiffened, and they fell down in an orderly fashion like dumplings. Not far away, Ying Yao and Su Tao were tacitly holding fine iron crossbows, each taking charge of one side. Ying Yao's face was filled with excitement, as if this was not a battle, but a fun target shooting game. Although Su Tao was still somewhat afraid, her hand holding the crossbow was unusually steady, and her round almond-shaped eyes were full of focus. What's going on? The pirates still climbing below were completely dumbfounded. They imagined a group of weak, trembling lambs crying for mercy, but the scene before them looked exactly like a trap set by some special forces unit. A violent, muscular Barbie wielding a giant shield, resembling a mountain peak. A cold-blooded female assassin who appears and disappears like a ghost, reaping lives. Two sharpshooters who never miss a shot. Is this just an ordinary survivor? These are clearly a bunch of monsters. The other girls on the Pangu were instantly filled with excitement and admiration upon seeing this scene. Wow, Zhou Ling is amazing. Sasa is so cool. Decisive and ruthless. I love him. Ying Yao and Su Tao's crossbows are incredibly accurate. They're practically sharpshooters. What if I want to kiss them? I'll reward them after the battle. Before they could even put their crossbows to use, the battle had already turned into a one-sided massacre. This is a classic example of dimensional reduction attack. A bunch of useless trash. Attack. All of you attack. Wang Kuei watched from below, his eyes bloodshot with rage. He couldn't understand how he had roamed this blood-red graveyard for weeks, plundering no fewer than 5 ships without ever failing. How did I end up kicking a steel plate today? Boss, this won't do. The firepower from above is too intense. It's a trap. Our ship is sinking. Think of something quickly. The screams and pleas for mercy from his men completely consumed Wang Kuei's reason with rage. Get out of my way. He shoved aside the henchman beside him and looked at his character panel. Talent, C rank, Berserk. Effect, when activated, all attributes are increased by 50%, but the user will fall into a slightly confused state. Roar. Wang Kuei roared and activated his talent. His muscles swelled up instantly, his skin turned an unnatural red, and his single eye became bloodshot. He pushed off the sinking deck with both legs, and his whole body shot into the air like a cannonball, covering a distance of more than 10 meters, heading straight for the bow of the Pangu. His goal was clear: to catch the thief, first catch the king. As long as he kills that pretty boy standing at the bow of the ship, watching coldly from the sidelines, this ship and these women will all be his. Squad leader, watch out. The girls gasped in surprise. However, Zhang Ye's expression remained completely unchanged throughout. He looked at the hideous face that was rapidly enlarging in the air, and even had the leisure to make a comment. You bastard, you can jump pretty high. Just as Wang Kuei's fist was about to smash into his face, Zhang Ye moved. There was no earth-shattering momentum. He simply raised the fine iron longsword in his hand. Clang! A crisp metallic clang rang out. Wang Kuei's fist, powerful enough to pierce an iron plate, was steadily blocked by the slender blade of the sword. The expected scene of the opponent's bones breaking and tendons snapping did not occur. Instead, Wang Kuei felt as if he had struck an ancient, unyielding iceberg. A terrifying force that filled him with despair rebounded from the sword. Snap! The sound of bone cracking was clearly audible. Ah! Wang Kuei screamed in agony as his entire arm twisted at a bizarre angle, the stark white bone even piercing through his skin. The madness in his eyes was instantly replaced by horror and fear. How is that possible? He unleashed a full-force attack using his Berserk talent, only to have it effortlessly parried by his opponent, who even managed to cripple his arm. What kind of monster is this? Zhang Yi flicked his wrist, and the long sword drew a graceful arc before gently resting on Wang Kuei's neck. The icy touch sent a shiver down Wang Kuei's spine, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Now, can we have a proper chat? Zhang Ye's voice was calm, yet it carried an authority that sent shivers down one's spine. The battle was over within minutes of its start. The surviving pirates, seeing their leader subdued in one move, completely lost all courage to resist and jumped into the sea to escape. But it was all in vain. Once the captain died, they would all be dead. Moreover, what awaited them was a vast net that Lin Zhixia had already laid underwater. In the seawater, countless shrimp soldiers and crab generals swarmed up. The sea quickly returned to calm, except for a deep red hue. When cutting weeds, remove them by the roots. When killing people, kill them all. On the deck of the Pangu, Wang Kuei knelt on the ground, his face ashen, his other intact hand clutching his severed arm tightly, his clothes soaked with cold sweat. Zhang Yi looked down at him and asked, "Which sea area is this?" Blood-red graveyard. Wang Kuei answered, trembling. "How do I obtain the storm core?" Zhang Yi went straight to the point. Wang Kuei was stunned for a moment. Then a look of despair flashed in his eyes. He knew that if the other party asked this question, he would probably have no way out. but he dared not refuse to answer. The rule of this sea area is to hunt down, kill the captains of other ships. There's a chance of getting the storm core. The higher the ship's level, the greater the chance. I see. Jiang Yi understood. This place is a poisonous field enclosed by the Poseidon system, where people are encouraged to kill each other. The weak are simply experience packs and materials for the strong to level up. One last question. Jiang Ye's sword drew even closer to Wang Kuei's neck. How many storm cores are on your ship? Wang Kuei's body trembled even more violently. One. We were just rescued from the captain of a level 3 raft a couple of days ago. Just one? A hint of disgust flashed in Jiang Ye's eyes. But even a mosquito is still meat, no matter how small. I've finished asking, Jiang Yi said calmly. Upon hearing this, Wang Kuei's face revealed a glimmer of hope that he had survived a calamity. Then can you let me go? I'll give you all the supplies on the ship. Did I say I'd let you go after I finished asking the questions? Jiang Yi countered with a question. Wang Kuei's expression froze. If you believe in the law of the jungle, then die because of that rule. Jiang Ye's voice was cold, and he was too lazy to waste any more words with him. As soon as he finished speaking, the fine iron longsword in his hand slashed down without the slightest hesitation. A magnificent head, soaring into the sky. Ding! You have successfully killed Captain Wang Kuei of the Wolf Fang. You have acquired full ownership of all supplies on the Wolf Fang. Congratulations. You have obtained a special drop, Storm Core *1. A golden ball of light emerged from Wang Kuei's headless corpse and slowly floated into Jiang Ye's hand. This is exactly what they've been dreaming of, the core of the storm. Jiang Yi looked at the core in his hand, then at the shipwrecks floating on the distant sea, and a cold smile curled at the corner of his mouth. The Crimson Graveyard? It's just a fish pond for high-level players. From this day forward, I am the apex predator of this sea. Chapter 39 Post-War Desserts and the Tsundere Dragon Girl's Obedient Punishment. The battle ended quickly, but cleaning up the battlefield was physically demanding. Although it was the first time the girls had experienced such a scene, they quickly adapted under Lin Zhixia's guidance. The corpses were thrown into the sea to feed Lin Zhixia's shrimp soldiers and crab generals, and the bloodstains on the deck were washed away clean by an unlimited amount of pure water. Vomit. In the corner, Xiang Wanqing, with her hair in pigtails, leaned against the gunwale, her face pale, and kept gagging. She has average talent and has always been in charge of logistics. She only dared to hide in the back during the battle, but the bloody scene still gave her a huge shock. Wanqing, are you all right? When Ruan walked over with a glass of warm water and gently patted her back. I'm fine, Sister Ruan. Xiang Wanqing took the water and looked at her gratefully. Jiang Yi glanced at it, but said nothing. Adaptation is the first step to survival. Soon, the spoils looted from the Wolf Fang were piled up in the center of the deck. 3,521 wooden planks, 865 iron blocks, 1024 plastic sheets, 50 boxes of compressed biscuits, 20 barrels of inferior rum. In addition, there was a tattered piece of parchment. Jiang Yi picked up the parchment, on which a simple map was drawn in crooked handwriting, marked with several red crosses, and the words "Fat Sheep" were written next to it. It seems to be the target record of Wang Kuei's gang of pirates. Tisk, poor bastard. Jiang Yi casually tossed the map aside. This amount of supplies was utterly insignificant to him, a tycoon who possessed 2 unlimited resources. The only thing of value is that one storm core. Move the food and wine to the kitchen. We're having a celebration dinner tonight, Jiang Yi said, waving his hand dismissively. Yay, let's eat meat and drink. Long live the squad leader. I love you, class monitor. The girls cheered, the gloom of the battle just now vanishing. As night fell, a bonfire was lit on the deck. The aroma of roasted meat mingled with the rich scent of rum, creating a lively and cheerful atmosphere. The girls sat together, chattering excitedly about the battle they had fought during the day. Zhou, that was too powerful. I saw the pirate's face contort. Sasa is truly handsome. He kills people like slicing vegetables. When Sa held her sword and gave a cool hum, but the slight upturn of her lips betrayed her good mood. Zhou laughed heartily, patting his large chest. That's right. Don't you know who I am? Ing Yao, however, sat alone in the corner, angrily stabbing the roasted meat in front of her with a small knife, her lips pouting so much they could hang a small oil bottle. Her little dragon flew around her, nuzzling her cheek, seemingly comforting its dragon mom. What's wrong, our great hero? A voice rang out above her head. Ing Yao looked up and saw Jiang Yi holding 2 glasses of rum, smiling at her. Don't talk to me. Ing Yao turned her head away, her face showing an expression of I'm not happy. Hey, who made our S-class talent dragon girl angry? Jiang Yi sat down next to her and handed her a glass of wine. Ing Yao snatched it away and took a big gulp. The spicy liquid made her cough for a long time, and her face turned bright red. It's all your fault. She glared at Jiang Yi, her eyes a little red. You didn't even let me make a move. I could burn that one-eyed bastard to ashes in one strike. It turns out they felt they hadn't had enough fun. Jiang Yi burst out laughing. This girl has a battle maniac side too? Does that kind of trash even need your help? Jiang Yi took a sip of his drink and said slowly, why use a sledgehammer to crack a nut? You're the one who's awesome. Ing Yao was furious. You just look down on me. I don't look down on you. Jiang Yi put down his wine glass, his expression suddenly becoming serious. I just think that as a crew member, you should obey the captain's orders. Ing Yao paused, her momentum weakening by 3 points. During the day, I had you and Su Tao in charge of remote suppression. Did you want to rush in several times? Jiang Yi's gaze sharpened. Ing Yao's eyes darted away, realizing he had hit the nail on the head. Do I need to teach you what the consequences are of disobeying orders and acting on your own on the battlefield? Jiang Yi's voice was not loud, but it carried a sense of pressure. I was wrong, okay. Ing Yao pouted and muttered softly. Seeing her feigned resentment, Jiang Yi's lips curled into a slight smile. Simply admitting your mistake isn't enough. He stood up. Come with me. Where are we going? Ing Yao asked, feeling a little guilty. Captain's cabin. Jiang Yi said these 3 words and turned to leave. Ing Yao's heart skipped a beat. That bastard, is he going to put me in solitary confinement? The girls around noticed the commotion and cast gossipy glances their way. When Sa, ever the troublemaker, whistled. Oh ho, Yao Yao's going to get a private lecture from the class monitor. Is it that kind of teacher training? Ing Yao's face flushed red instantly. She glared at Wen Sa fiercely, but ultimately followed Jiang Yi reluctantly. Bang! The captain's cabin door was closed, isolating it from the outside world. The room was dark, with only the moonlight and the glow of the campfire filtering in through the window, casting flickering shadows. The atmosphere instantly became somewhat awkward. What do you want to do? Ing Yao crossed her arms, looked at Jiang Yi warily, and said in a deliberately fierce tone, Let me tell you, if you dare lay a hand on me, my dragon baby will. Before she could finish speaking, Jiang Yi had cornered her against the wall step by step. Jiang Yi was a head taller than her, and he looked down at her without saying a word. An overwhelming sense of oppression washed over me. Ing Yao's heart began to race uncontrollably, and her breathing became rapid. She could smell the scent emanating from him, a mixture of rum and a faint hint of sunshine. This distance is too close. You stay away from me. She reached out, trying to push his chest, but Jiang Yi grabbed her wrist. His palm was warm and strong, like an iron clamp, making her unable to move. Ing Yao, Jiang Yi said slowly, his voice deep and magnetic. As punishment for disobeying orders, what do you think I should do to you? I don't know. Ing Yao's mind went blank. This scene was completely beyond her innocent comprehension. Jiang Yi slowly lowered his head and leaned close to her ear. His warm breath brushed against her earlobe, sending a shiver down her spine. Ing Yao's body went limp instantly, and she could only lean against the wall to avoid slipping. Since you don't know, Jiang Yi's lips almost touched her earlobe, whispering each word in a voice only the 2 of them could hear. Then tonight, you'll stay here and not go anywhere. When you've figured out what your responsibilities as a crew member are, then you can go out again. After saying that, he released her wrist. But he didn't leave. Instead, he raised his hand and gently tucked a stray strand of hair that had been ruffled by the wind behind her ear. His fingertips brushed against her burning cheeks unintentionally. The gentle touch contrasted sharply with the domineering restraint from before. Boom! Ying Yao felt like her head was about to explode. She stared blankly at Jiang Yi, who was so close to her, his deep eyes reflecting her panicked image. It's over. My heart feels like it's about to stop beating. Just then, beep, beep, beep. A piercing alarm suddenly blared from the captain's cockpit panel. A blood-red light instantly illuminated the entire captain's cabin. Sea Area announcement. The special event at the Crimson Graveyard, Blood Moon Battle, is about to begin. Countdown, 10 o'clock. Chapter 40 Blood Moon Showdown. The hunt begins. The sudden alarm broke the ambiguous atmosphere. Jiang Yi immediately turned around and looked at the control panel that was flashing with blood. Ying Yao also seemed to wake up from a dream and took the opportunity to slip out from the corner of the wall. Her face was red, and her heart was still pounding wildly. She was both ashamed and angry and still scared. On the panel, the blood-red text kept refreshing. Blood Moon Showdown. For the next 12 hours, the locations of all ships in the Crimson Graveyard will be forcibly shared and displayed on the sea map. Rule 1. Killing other captains allows you to plunder all their resources and grants double the drop rate of Storm Core. Rule 2. At the end of the event, the last surviving captain will receive additional rewards based on their kill count. First place, Legendary Treasure Chest, *1. Second place, Epic Treasure Chest, *1. Third place, Excellent Grade Treasure Chest, *1. Rule 3. Survivors shrouded in the Blood Moon will experience a significant increase in aggression and lust. Please treat any creature you encounter with caution. Jiang Ye's eyes lit up instantly. Double the drop rate of Storm Core? Legendary Treasure Chest? This is practically a welfare program tailor-made for me. However, it's still best to be careful, as there might be others frying fish just like you. After all, this world is too amazing, and resources are not evenly distributed. The output of resources in some sea areas can be 4 or 5 times that of an average captain. Everyone, assemble on the deck. Jiang Ye's voice, transmitted through the captain's authority, instantly reached every corner of the Pangu. 5 minutes later, all the girls gathered on the deck with serious expressions. Jiang Yi revealed the rules of the Blood Moon battle to the public, causing an uproar. Will the positions of all ships be visible? Then we've been exposed too. It's too dangerous. Should we find somewhere to hide? Some timid girls showed expressions of fear. Hide. Jiang Yi sneered. In this sea area, the Pangu is one of the most conspicuous targets. Do you think we can escape this? His gaze swept over the crowd. Danger also means opportunity. Our goal is to build a second-order power core as soon as possible. And now is our best chance to collect the last 4 storm cores. Jiang Ye's words were highly inflammatory, instantly igniting everyone's emotions. Yes, rather than passively taking a beating, it's better to take the initiative. I agree. Lin Zhixiao was the first to stand up, her intelligent and beautiful eyes sparkling with rationality. Fortune favors the bold. Moreover, our strength is sufficient to deal with most of our enemies. That's right. Let's get that bastard. Zhou Ling waved his fist, his face full of excitement. Kill. Wen Sa's words were concise and to the point, brimming with fighting spirit. Seeing that the core members had all expressed their opinions, the other girl's anxiety was gradually replaced by confidence. Okay. Jiang Yi nodded in satisfaction. He looked at Lin Zhixiao and said, Zhixiao, analyze the map. Lin Zhixiao walked to the control panel and brought up the sea map. On the originally black map, hundreds of bright spots of varying sizes have appeared, each representing a ship. Their Pangu is the brightest and largest of them. Like a bright moon, it stands out prominently among the stars. Lin Zhixiao activated her SS-level talent, strategic planning, at full power, and countless streams of information flashed through her mind. A few seconds later, she extended her slender finger and drew a winding route on the map. Jiang Yi. According to the analysis, the 3 points of light on this route are the closest single ships to us, and their ship rating is below level 5. They are the best target to strike. She then pointed to another area on the map. There are 7 or 8 bright spots clustered together in this area. It is likely an alliance, but their strength is unknown. We should avoid it for now. Very good. Jiang Yi made a decisive decision. Do as you say. Target the nearest fat sheep. He turned to look at the people on the deck and gave them the battle orders. Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Ying Yao, and Su Tao formed the first echelon, ready to board the ship and fight at any time. Everyone else is divided into two groups, one operating crossbows to provide long-range fire suppression and the other defending the deck. Lin Jixia, you are in charge of command from the center, and have your water babies stand by underwater, ready to breach the bottom of the enemy's ship at any time. Xiang Wanqing, you and a few other girls will be in charge of logistics and medical care. Did you all understand? Understood. All the girls responded in unison, their voices booming. Under Jiang Ye's command, the entire Pangu ship quickly came into operation, like a sophisticated war machine. The countdown has ended. A blood-red, eerie full moon slowly climbed into the sky, staining the entire sea surface with an ominous red hue. The giant sails of the Pangu were raised, and with the help of the wind, it slowly sailed toward the nearest point of light on the map. A bloody hunt sweeping across the entire sea has officially begun. Half an hour later, on the lookout tower of the Pangu, Su Tao spotted the target through her binoculars. Class monitor. Teacher Lin. Target spotted. It's a level 4 raft with about a dozen people on it. Very good. Jiang Yi stood at the bow of the ship, a cold smile playing on his lips. Meanwhile, panic also gripped the level 4 raft opposite them. Captain, there's a huge ship chasing us from behind. Damn it, they're coming for us. Run, turn around. The survivors on the raft were terrified as they watched the enormous on the map get closer and closer. But how could a raft possibly match the speed of the Pangu? The distance between the two sides is constantly closing. 1 kilometer. 800 meters. 500 meters. Damn it, fire. Jiang Yi gave the order. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 20 fine iron crossbows simultaneously launched a barrage of fire from both sides of the ship's side. A dense rain of crossbow bolts, like a dark cloud of death, instantly enveloped the small raft. Ah! Screams echoed throughout the room. The people on the raft didn't even have time to organize an effective defense before they were riddled with arrows. The battle was over the instant they made contact. Ding! You have killed the captain of the Wild Dog. Congratulations. You have obtained a special drop, Storm Core *1. Another Storm Core secured. A satisfied smile appeared on Jiang Ye's face. This feeling is like mowing the grass after reaching the maximum level in the starting village. So satisfying. Keep searching for the next target. At Jiang Ye's command, Lin Jixia began to operate the equipment, her beautiful eyes occasionally revealing different emotions. Chapter 41 Sweeping Away the Blood Moon. Due to the Blood Moon conquest, parts of the Rainbow Sea have changed their shape. At this moment, the Blood Moon hangs high in the sky, and the sea is as smooth as a mirror, reflecting an eerie crimson. The Pangu, like a giant sea monster, glided silently across the Scarlet Sea. Inside the control room, Lin Jixia lightly tapped the virtual map with her slender fingers, and a new flight path was planned. Jiang Yi, our next target is 15 nautical miles away. The initial assessment is that it is a Class 4 raft with about 20 people. Good. Jiang Yi stood behind her, his gaze fixed on the lone dot of light on the map, his eyes cold. Full speed ahead. Clear. The simple sails of the Pangu were fully inflated, and its speed increased once again. On the deck, the girls, having experienced a crushing victory, had lost their initial nervousness. Zhou Ling, carrying a tower shield taller than herself, was enthusiastically gesturing with Wen Sa. Sasa, next time someone dares to be so blind, I'll knock them out, and you can finish them off. How about that? Wen Sa, holding her fine iron short sword, leaned against the ship's railing and merely lifted her eyelids upon hearing this. Too slow. By the time you knock me unconscious, I'll have already finished killing them all. Hey, you little brat, you look down on your sister Zhou Ling, don't you? In the corner, Ying Yao was still sulking, but his ears were constantly perked up, listening intently to what was happening on the other side, a hint of envy and resentment flashing in his eyes. She also wants to go on the field and dominate. Half an hour later, Su Tao, on the lookout tower, reported again. Class monitor. Teacher Lin. We've spotted them. They seem to be rendezvousing with another ship. Jiang Yi picked up his binoculars and, sure enough, saw 2 points of light rapidly approaching each other on the distant sea. One of them was their target, and the other was a slightly smaller, third-class raft. Clearly, the other side had also spotted the massive Pangu ship rapidly approaching on the map and was so frightened that it quickly sought refuge with its nearby neighbors. Squad leader, they've formed an alliance. What should we do? Should we retreat first? Some of the girls on the deck started to get nervous again. Retreat? Why retreat? Aren't 2 fat sheep together more delicious than one? He turned to look at Lin Zhixiao. Lin Zhixiao understood immediately and nodded with a smile. My water babies are hungry. Jiang Yi turned around to face all the crew members. Everyone, prepare for battle. Let them see today what it means for Pangu to leave nothing but barren land when he passes through. Grass. A madman. That big guy is a madman. Captain Li He of the Black Shark stared in horror at the huge on-the-sea map that represented the Pangu ship. Instead of slowing down, it accelerated and rushed towards them. The captain of the third-class raft next to them, a skinny man, was so frightened that his legs trembled. Blackie, they're charging in. They're trying to take on 2 of us. What's there to be afraid of? Li He forced himself to remain calm and grabbed a machete. We have about 30 men left, and 10 broken crossbows. No matter how big it is, it's still just a ship. Get the grappling hooks ready, and when they get close, we'll charge at them together. He had barely finished speaking. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The shriek of death came from the distant horizon. Li He suddenly looked up, his pupils contracting sharply. A dense mass of black dots, like locusts in flight, instantly covered hundreds of meters and enveloped their sky. It's a rain of arrows. Get down. Get cover. Li He let out a hoarse roar. But it was all too late. For the 30-odd people crammed into 2 small rafts, there was nowhere to hide. Uft, uft, uft. The sounds of crossbow bolts piercing flesh were accompanied by screams, one after another. With just one volley of fire, more than half of the people on the 2 rafts fell. Blood instantly stained the deck red, forming streams that flowed into the scarlet seawater. It's all over, it's all fucking dead. Captain Skinny Monkey was lucky enough to escape being shot. Looking at his companions who were riddled with arrows, he was so frightened that he jumped into the sea without thinking. However, he felt a tightness in his ankle as soon as he entered the water. Looking down, he saw countless crabs and lobsters waving their pincers, surging up from the seabed and dragging him into the abyss. Not even a ripple could be made on the sea surface. Go, ram them. Jiang Ye's icy voice was issued again. The massive Panga ship did not slow down at all, and like an out-of-control heavy truck, it crashed violently into the already out-of-control Black Shark. Good bro, you're about to hit the jackpot. Boom! A loud bang. Wood chips flew everywhere. The Class 4 raft was as fragile as a biscuit in front of the Pangu and was instantly smashed to pieces. The few surviving pirates fell into the sea like dumplings, only to be met with a trap that Lin Zhixiao had already laid. Zhou Ling stood at the bow of the ship, carrying the tower shield, and shouted excitedly as he watched this spectacular scene. That was awesome. Class monitor. Let's find another one. The battle ended before their melee squad even had a chance to make a move. Jiang Yi ignored her shouting and simply listened quietly to the notification sound in his mind. You have successfully defeated Captain Li He of the Black Shark. Congratulations. You have obtained a special drop, Storm Core *1. You have successfully killed the captain of the Skinny Monkey. Congratulations. You have obtained a special drop, Storm Core *1. 2 golden beams shot out from the wreckage on the sea surface and disappeared into Jiang Ye's hand. 2 more Storm Cores acquired. Including the 2 he already had, he now has 4. We are just 1 step away from the core of the 5 storms. Jiang Ye's gaze returned to the sea map. He glanced at the kill leaderboard in the upper right corner. First place, Blood Wolf Alliance, kills 7. Second place, Pangu, kills 4. Third place, Iron Fist, kills 2. Blood Wolf Alliance. An alliance? Perfect. Saves me the trouble of searching one by one. He was preparing to have Lin Jixia analyze the location of this Blood Wolf alliance. Suddenly, Lin Jixia's expression changed slightly. Jiang Yi, something's not right. She pointed to the map, her expression grave. Look, this Blood Wolf alliance. They're heading straight for us at full speed. The 7 or 8 dots on the map representing the Blood Wolf alliance formed a wedge formation with a clear target, the Pangu ship where they were located. Clearly, Jiang Yi, this dark horse who suddenly emerged, has already attracted the attention of the strongest alliance in this sea area. They're coming to clear the area. Chapter 42 Blood Moon Endgame. Decapitation Tactics. The cheers on deck fell silent instantly, like a duck being choked. Everyone witnessed the astonishing scene on the sea map. 7 or 8 points of light converged into a torrent, rushing straight toward their location. Each point of light represents a ship, a team. 7 or 8 ships. That must have at least 100 people, right? Can we win? The newly established confidence began to falter in the face of an overwhelming disparity in numbers. What's there to be afraid of? Zhou Ling slammed the tower shield heavily onto the deck, making a loud thud. I'll film 1 if they come, and I'll film 100 if they come. Even so, her hand holding the shield trembled slightly. Quiet. Jiang Ye's voice rang out, instantly silencing all the noise. Looking at the menacing enemy fleet on the map, he showed no fear, but rather a hint of excitement. Good timing. He looked at Lin Jixia with eyes full of trust. Jixia, is there any way? Lin Jixia's SS-level talent, strategic planning, was operating at high speed, with countless data streams surging and calculating in her mind. She took a deep breath, and a confident glow shone on her beautiful face. She pointed to the enemy formation on the map. Although they had a large number of people, their ships were of varying grades, and although their formation appeared tight, it was actually full of loopholes. My plan is... Lin Jixia leaned close to Jiang Ye's ear and quickly explained her plan. Jiang Ye's eyes grew brighter and brighter. Good heavens, that decapitation tactic you used was really dirty. He couldn't help but exclaim in admiration after hearing it. Let's do it this way. Jiang Yi turned around, facing all the anxious girls, and announced loudly. Everyone listen up. Su Tao. Yes, yes. The cute girl with pigtails nervously raised her hand. Later, use your bubbles to create a bubble fog wall around the ship. The larger the area, the better. Huh? Make a bubble wall. Su Tao was stunned. That's right. Jiang Yi then looked at Lin Jixia. Jixia, your water babies are responsible for causing trouble underwater. Their goal is to chew up their rudders and make them lose their way. Understood. Lin Jixia nodded. Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Ying Yao, the 3 of you are responsible for guarding the deck and clearing out any fish that try to board the ship. Yes, the 3 replied in unison. As for me, Jiang Yi slowly drew the mantis blade from his waist. The epic blade gleamed eerily under the blood moon. I'll be right back. 10 minutes later, the Blood Wolf Alliance fleet has completely surrounded the Pangu. Leading the group was a 5th-class wooden raft with a burly, bald man with a face full of scars standing on the deck. His name is Blood Wolf, and he is the leader of the Blood Wolf Alliance. Haha, I never expected to find such a beautiful ship in this sea area. Blood Wolf stared at the brightly lit Pangu with greed in his eyes. And there are so many girls here. Brothers, we're rich today. The 100 or so pirates behind him let out obscene, silvery laughter. Boss, stop wasting time talking to them. Let's just charge in. That's right. Steal the ship. Steal the women. Blood Wolf raised his hand, silencing his men's shouts. He cleared his throat and, in what he considered a very authoritative voice, shouted towards the Pangu ship. Listen up, you inside. I am Blood Wolf, the leader of the Blood Wolf Alliance. If you know what's good for you, hand over the ship and half the women, and I might spare your lives. However, what responded to him was a sudden burst of tiny, dense bubbles and fog. Puff! With a soft sound, a huge bubble shimmering with 7 colors rose from the Pangu and then burst open in midair. Countless tiny bubbles drifted out, instantly forming a thick fog so dense that one couldn't see their own hand in front of their face, enveloping the entire sea area within a radius of several hundred meters. What the hell? The Blood Wolf Alliance's fleet was instantly thrown into chaos. Don't panic. Hold the boat steady. It's just bubbles. Blood Wolf roared loudly, trying to calm the troops. But just then, a series of strange crackling sounds came from underwater. Boss, something's happened. Our rudder has been bitten off by something. Mine too. The boat won't obey me. At this moment, they were completely like headless flies, bumping into each other in the thick fog, shouting and cursing incessantly. Blood Wolf was both shocked and furious. He couldn't understand what strange methods the other party had used. What he didn't know was that the real Grim Reaper had already quietly descended. In the thick fog, a dark figure, taking advantage of the moment the ships collided, climbed up from the bottom of one of the ships like a ghost. It was Jiang Yi who activated his spider form. He was like a deep-sea predator, his black shell blending perfectly into the colorful environment, and his 8 sharp spider legs allowing him to walk on any ship's surface as if it were flat ground. He quietly approached the stern of a 3-class raft. Weakness insight activated. The captain, who was shouting in panic on the deck, immediately had a bright red weakness mark appear above his head. Jiang Yi did not hesitate at all. His 2 spider legs suddenly exerted force, and he was launched into the air like a cannonball, silently covering a distance of more than 10 meters. Uft! The mantis blade pierced through the captain's back like a death scythe. Before the captain could even let out a scream, the light in his eyes quickly faded. Ding! You have killed. Having landed a successful blow, Jiang Yi didn't linger. He kicked off the corpse with his spider legs and disappeared back into the colorful mist, searching for his next target. A one-sided massacre unfolded in the thick fog. The third brother is dead. Asi is dead too. Damn it, someone stabbed him through the heart. There's a ghost. There's a ghost in this fog. The Blood Wolf Alliance's communication channels were filled with the terrified screams of the captains as they faced their deaths. As Blood Wolf listened to his men die one by one, his initial rage gradually turned into a deep-seated fear. Retreat. Everyone, retreat now. He roared in terror, but it was too late. As the thick fog gradually dissipated, only his lone 5th-class raft remained on the sea. The other ships had either sunk or were drifting far away, their decks deserted. All the crew members were buried alive with the captain after his death. Blood Wolf stared blankly at all of this, his whole body ice cold. A figure slowly emerged from the air in front of him. Jiang Yi deactivated his spider form, holding a long sword, his clothes spotless, and calmly looked at him. Now, we can have a proper talk. Jiang Yi's voice sounded like a devil's whisper to Blood Wolf. Ding! The Blood Moon battle event has ended. Final rankings are being finalized. Congratulations to Jiang Yi, captain of the Pangu, for topping the leaderboard with 11 kills of captains. Rewards being distributed. Congratulations. You have obtained a legendary treasure chest *1. A dazzling golden light flashed, and a magnificent treasure chest, carved with intricate siren patterns, appeared out of thin air in front of Jiang Yi. He didn't even glance at the Blood Wolf kneeling on the ground, trembling, and slashed him across with his blade. Ding! You have killed Blood Wolf, the leader of the Blood Wolf Alliance. Congratulations. You have obtained a special drop, Storm Core *1. 5th Storm Core obtained. Damn it, we killed so many captains and not a single one of them escaped. Is this sea god deliberately messing with me? Jiang Yi, carrying the legendary treasure chest, turned and walked back to the Pangu. On the deck, all the girls were looking at him. Jiang Yi's gaze swept over everyone, finally landing on the proud dragon girl in the corner who had been clenching her little fists the whole time, looking both nervous and excited. He smiled and waved the treasure chest in his hand. Before we open the box, Jiang Yi's gaze was fixed on Ying Yao as he walked towards her step by step. Shouldn't we settle accounts for the past instances where some people disobeyed orders? Chapter 43: The Punishment of the Arrogant Dragon Girl, Legendary Sea God Power. As soon as Jiang Yi finished speaking, all the gossipy eyes on the deck instantly focused on Ying Yao. Ying Yao's face flushed red instantly, the blush spreading from her cheeks to her ears. She stiffened her neck and forced a calm expression to meet Jiang Yi's gaze. What? What do you want to do? I. I didn't disobey orders. I've been suppressing the enemy the whole time. What she said was true. In the battle just now, she and Su Tao coordinated perfectly, using their crossbows and long bow to accurately shoot down several survivors who tried to climb up using the grappling hooks. Oh, Jiang Yi walked up to her, his tall figure completely enveloping her in shadow. But I seem to remember someone trying to activate their dragon form and rush out on their own several times. Ying Yao was speechless. This guy actually saw right through her little scheme. As an S-level talent and the core combat force of the team, you always think about doing reckless things. Jiang Ye's voice was not loud, but it carried an air of authority. Ying Yao, do you know how dangerous this is on the battlefield? Ying Yao lowered her head further and further as he spoke, her fingers gripping the hem of her clothes tightening. The girls around her realized that Jiang Yi was using this opportunity to give her a warning, so they all suppressed their laughter and pretended to be looking at the scenery. Only when Sa, who always seemed to thrive on chaos, was still winking and mouthing to her, "You're doomed. You're going to be punished by family rules." Ying Yao was so ashamed and angry that she wanted to crawl into a hole in the ground. "All right, everyone stop watching the show." Jiang Yi waved his hand and said to the others, "Go prepare a celebration banquet. We'll have a good meal tonight. Yay, long live the class monitor. Eat meat." The girls cheered and dispersed, leaving only Jiang Yi and Ying Yao, who was still frozen in place, on the huge deck. The atmosphere became subtle again. The evening breeze carries the slightly salty scent of the ocean. Ying Yao could clearly hear her own heart pounding. She didn't dare to look up, and could only see the tips of Jiang Ye's shoes. "Come with me." Jiang Yi uttered 3 words and turned to walk towards the captain's cabin. It's the captain's cabin again. Does this bastard always have to go to such private places to educate people? Ying Yao felt both ashamed and angry, but her body betrayed her, and she reluctantly followed. Bang! The door was closed again. Jiang Yi didn't turn on the light. He just leaned against the control panel. Moonlight streamed in through the porthole, casting sharp angles on his handsome profile. He didn't speak. The room was eerily quiet. This silent oppression was more agonizing to Ying Yao than any harsh reprimand. Finally, she couldn't hold back any longer. What exactly do you want?" Her voice carried a hint of barely perceptible grievance and trembling. "I admit I was wrong, okay?" Jiang Yi turned around and approached step by step. Ying Yao instinctively stepped back until her back hit the cold wall, leaving her nowhere to retreat. "Now you know you were wrong." Jiang Yi reached out and braced himself against the wall next to her cheek, trapping her between himself and the wall. "This distance is too close." Ying Yao could even see her own panicked little face reflected in his deep eyes. She could smell his unique, pleasant scent, a blend of sunshine and sea breeze. "Then tell me, what did you do wrong?" Jiang Yi slowly lowered his head, his warm breath spraying onto her earlobe. Ying Yao's body went limp instantly, her mind went blank, and all she could smell was his pleasant scent. I shouldn't always think about rushing forward on my own." Her voice was barely audible. "Anything else?" Jiang Ye's lips almost touched her reddened earlobe. I should follow the captain's orders." "Very good." Jiang Ye's deep voice carried a hint of laughter, sounding magnetic and sexy, making Ying Yao's ears itch. This arrogant little dragon girl needs to be dealt with in this way. Just when she thought the interrogation was finally over, Jiang Yi did not leave. Instead, he raised his other hand and gently pinched her chin, forcing her to look up and meet his gaze. "Since you know you're wrong, then there must be punishment." Punish? Ying Yao's heart skipped a beat. "Yes." Jiang Ye's fingertips gently caressed her smooth chin, the soft touch sending a slight shiver through her. His gaze was focused and intense, as if he wanted to see right through her. "I'll punish you." He paused, looking at the girl's eyelashes trembling slightly with nervousness, and the corners of his mouth curved into a wider smile. "From now on, whenever we encounter a boss-level enemy, you will be the one to fire the first shot." "Huh?" Ying Yao was stunned. Her brain went blank on the spot. What kind of punishment is this? Isn't this exactly what she's been dreaming of? But Jiang Yi changed the subject. "You must obey my orders completely." If I say attack the left, you can't attack the right. I said retreat. Even if you're just one strike away from killing the enemy, you must retreat immediately. He gazed into her eyes and said, word by word, S-level talent isn't meant to be used as a brute. I want you to become the sharpest blade in our team. Can you do it? So that's how it is. So that's how it is. He wasn't limiting himself, but rather acknowledging his own strength in another way and planning for a more important position for himself. A huge warm current instantly surged through Ying Yao's entire body. All the grievances and resentment vanished at that moment. Instead, there is an unprecedented sense of belonging and the joy of being valued. Her eyes welled up with tears. I can. She nodded heavily, her voice choked with emotion. Seeing the girl's adorable expression, with tears in her eyes yet trying to appear resolute, Jiang Ye's heart stirred, and he couldn't help but lower his head and gently kiss her smooth forehead. Instantly separate. Boom! Ying Yao felt as if the whole world had exploded. She stood there dumbfounded, covering her forehead, feeling the lingering warmth of the other person's touch, completely stunned. This is a reward for obedient and well-behaved children. Jiang Yi straightened up, ruffled her soft hair, and turned to walk outside. Let's go, open the treasure chests, and divide the spoils. Ying Yao only snapped out of her daze when the captain's cabin door was reopened and the lively cheers outside reached her. She touched her burning cheeks and her wildly beating heart. That's it, that big bastard. It seems like it's not so bad after all. On the deck, the campfire was burning brightly. The legendary treasure chest was placed in the very center, attracting everyone's attention. Ruan, it's up to you now, Jiang Yi said to Ruan with a smile. When Ruan's face was flushed, encouraged by everyone, she took out her bamboo skewer holder and shook it reverently. A fortune slip shimmering with iridescent light fell out from inside. Super lucky, sign it. When Sa snatched it away and loudly chanted, auspicious purple clouds rise from the east. Divine light shines everywhere. May all your wishes come true. May everything you desire be granted. Wow! Everyone was in an uproar. This luck was simply incredible. Jiang Yi was both amused and exasperated. This talent was simply outrageous. Without further hesitation, he placed his hand on the legendary treasure chest amidst everyone's expectant gaze. Activate. Snap. The treasure chest opened with a snap, and a blinding golden light shot into the sky. As the light faded, an ancient book, seemingly made of flowing water, floated quietly in midair. Everyone's attention was drawn to it. Skill book, Sea God's Entanglement, legendary gold. Quality, legendary. Learning requirement, 100 points of mental focus. Effect, you have gained a portion of the sea god's power. You can resonate with the ocean, manipulating seawater within a 100-meter radius, transforming it into chains, giant hands, or barriers for control and defense. The skill's strength and range increase with your mental power. Legendary skill. It's still about the ability to control seawater. In this ocean world, this is simply an amazing skill. Squad leader. Learn quickly. Learn quickly. My God. A legendary skill. Jiang Yi couldn't hide his excitement and immediately chose to study. The skill book transformed into a stream of water and instantly merged into his body. A sudden realization dawned on me. He felt a strange connection between himself and the boundless sea beneath his feet, a connection that seemed to run through his veins. He raised his hand and looked at the sea not far away, a thought forming in his mind. Splash. Above the sea, a giant arm made of seawater suddenly burst out of the water, waved in the air, and brought up gusts of wind, creating a terrifying sight. Holy crap! Zhou Ling exclaimed in shock. All the girls gaped, speechless with awe at this miraculous scene. Jiang Yi withdrew his hand with satisfaction, feeling the mental energy he had consumed, and felt much more at ease. With this skill, their survivability and combat effectiveness will experience another qualitative leap. All right. Jiang Yi put away the remaining 5 storm cores and looked at Lin Zhixia beside him. Zhixia, the materials for upgrading the second-tier power core are all here. Lin Zhixia's eyes were also full of joy. The 7-colored glazed wood is still on Rainbow Island, and we can go back to mine it at any time. Okay. Jiang Yi nodded, turned his gaze toward Rainbow Island, and announced the next step of the plan. Everyone, get a good rest tonight. We'll return to Rainbow Island tomorrow. Chapter 44 Upgrade. Second Tier Power Core. Rainbow Sea. After the blood moon in the sky faded, the sea quickly returned to its original color. Pangu. The campfire crackled on the deck, and the aroma of roasted meat mixed with the rich scent of rum dispelled the chill after the bloody battle. The girls sat together, chattering excitedly about their victory and the awe they felt over the legendary treasure chest. Jiang Yi carefully stored away the 5 storm cores, and a huge weight was finally lifted from his heart. His gaze swept across the deck and landed on the proud figure who was holding little dragon baby. Poking at the roasted meat with his head down, his cheeks still flushed. Ying Yao felt his gaze. Her shoulders trembled almost imperceptibly, and she lowered her head even further, pretending not to see him. Cough. Jiang Yi coughed lightly and sat down next to her. Still thinking about what happened earlier? Who wanted that? Ying Yao bristled like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, her voice rising 8 octaves in acknowledgement. I'm thinking that next time I encounter a boss, I'm definitely going to be the first to twist its head off. She waved her little fist and said fiercely. However, her reddened eyes and evasive gaze completely betrayed the turmoil in her heart. Beside him, Wen Sa watched with amusement, a meat skewer dangling from her mouth. She winked at Jiang Yi in mouth. Class monitor is awesome. The dragon girl smells delicious. Jiang Yi ignored her, just smiled, and shook his head, then took a bottle of soda from his backpack and handed it to Ying Yao. It's amazing how you can catch almost anything when you're fishing in the ocean. That is, you are lucky enough. Yesterday, Jiang Yi saw someone in the chat channel directly fish out an S-level talent card. It seems that after using it, I directly obtained an S-level talent. Other items include things like a 10,000 unit material exchange card, etc. Here, this is your reward. Who cares? Despite saying that, Ying Yao's hands honestly took the bottle, unscrewed the cap, and gulped down 2 mouthfuls. The cool liquid calmed her restless heartbeat considerably. Squad leader. Just then, Zhou Ling, her mouth greasy from eating, came over and looked at him with bright, sparkling eyes. Are we going back to cut down that 7-colored glasswood tomorrow? Is that stuff very hard? Okay, we'll set off tomorrow. Jiang Yi nodded. We'll only know how tough it is after we cut it. Lin Jixia also walked over, her gentle crescent-shaped earrings swaying softly in the firelight. I just looked at the nautical chart. It will take about half a day to sail back to Rainbow Island from here at full speed. She paused, then added. In addition, the Pangu is currently equipped with high-quality iron weapons, but the wood-cutting axes are still the most primitive stone axes, which are too inefficient. I suggest we use the infinite iron blocks to exchange for enough planks in the trading market to forge a batch of fine iron axes. That makes sense, Jiang Yi agreed. Then let's do it this way. Jiang Yi made the decision. We still have today's trading opportunities left. He immediately opened the captain's trading market. The trading market is now several times more prosperous than before, with a wide variety of goods available, but high-quality goods are still scarce. As a basic building material, wood planks are in high demand. Jiang Yi directly issued 10 transaction orders. Seller, Penguaheo, Jiangya. Item for trade. Farmers 3 punches pure water * 100. Requirement, 10,000 wooden planks. Message, large quantities available. Instant transactions, take as much as you want. 10 orders, totaling 1,000 bottles of purified water, in exchange for 100,000 wooden planks. The moment the order was posted, the entire world chat channel exploded. Holy crap, it's Pangu again. He just threw out 1,000 bottles of water. My God, doesn't he need water? It's been days already. Has the old man found a freshwater area yet? Hey upstairs, be more confident. Remove the word follow. This is absolutely true. Wah, does the boss need any accessories? The kind that can say bye. Almost the instant the order appeared, all 10 transaction requests were sold out. Ding. Transaction successful. You have received 100,000 wooden planks. Ding. You have used up all your transaction attempts for today. Planks are the most basic consumable resource, needed for almost any modification. so it's fine to trade more and stockpile them. Seeing the extra 10,000 planks in his backpack, Jiang Yi closed the transaction interface with satisfaction. Next, we need to make the tools. Blueprint, fine iron axe. Quality, refined, green. Materials needed, 5 planks, 2 iron blocks. Jiang Yi glanced at the girls on the boat. There were 41 of them, excluding himself and Sister Jixia. He opted directly for mass production. Mass production of refined iron axe, *41. Materials required, 205 planks, 82 iron blocks. Under construction. Thanks to the infinite iron blocks, this consumption is negligible for him. A few minutes later, 41 fine iron axes, gleaming with metallic luster, appeared neatly on the deck. Wow, it feels so sharp. With this, cutting down trees will definitely be faster. The girls excitedly picked up the axes, feeling their heavy weight and sharp blades, filled with confidence for tomorrow's logging. All right, everyone get some rest. Jiang Yi stood up and clapped his hands. Xiang Wanqing. Huh? Yes. In the corner, Xiang Wanqing, who had been quiet all along, was startled when her name was called and quickly stood up. Starting tomorrow, the basic ecological park on the ship will be yours, Jiang Yi said encouragingly to the somewhat self-conscious girl. Your talent can finally be put to good use. Keep up the good work. Xiang Wanqing was stunned, then her eyes lit up with surprise. Her talent has always been considered a useless D grade, which is practically useless in the survival environment except for making the bonsai grow better. But now, with the upgrade of her ship, she finally has her own little patch of land. I definitely will. Xiang Wanqing nodded heavily, puffing out her chest in front of everyone for the first time. Nothing was said that night. The next morning, under Lin Jixia's command, the Pangu turned around and headed back at full speed towards Rainbow Island, facing the rising sun. Around noon, the familiar, beautiful island shrouded in a 7-colored halo reappeared before everyone's eyes. The ship docked. Jiang Yi made personnel arrangements. Sister Jixia, Yu, Wenruan, Su Tao, Xiang Wanqing, and 20 other sisters will stay on the ship to be responsible for security and logistics. Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Ying Yao, the 3 of you come with me, and together with the other 15 sisters, form a logging team and head to the island. Yes. The crowd responded in unison. The entire logging team, armed with fine iron axes, strode confidently onto the land of Rainbow Island. Led by Jiang Yi, they quickly found the forest that was guarded by the Spider Queen and emitted a 7-colored light. 7-colored glazed wood. Quality, epic, purple. Description, a miracle wood that grows in a special environment. It is hard and contains unique energy, making it an excellent material for crafting advanced ship modules. This is it. Jiang Yi looked at the crystal-clear trees in front of him, a fiery glint in his eyes. Everyone, get to work. At a command, the 15 girls immediately dispersed, wielding their fine iron axes and hacking at the 7-colored glazed wood with all their might. Clang, clang, clang. A crisp metallic clanging sound rang out in the forest. As expected of an epic-level material, it is quite difficult to chop it even with a fine iron axe. It often takes dozens of axe blows to leave a dent in the tree trunk. Go, sisters. For our Pangu. For a ship that can sail on its own. Cut it down. The girls encouraged each other, and although they were drenched in sweat and their clothes were soaked, they were full of energy. Zhou Ling was even more ferocious, activating the Hercules talent. With 5 times the strength, each axe blow was powerful and heavy, sending wood chips flying everywhere, making him several times more efficient than others. Jiang Yi, along with Wen Sa and Ying Yao, patrolled and kept watch in the forest. Although some of the elite gourmet monsters on Rainbow Island have been cleared out, it's hard to guarantee that no one has escaped. Roar! Suddenly, a low growl came from the depths of the dense forest. A dark shadow pounced like lightning on a girl who was concentrating on cutting down a tree. Careful! Jiang Ye's eyes narrowed, and he immediately activated Sea God's Entanglement. Splash! A puddle of water on the ground suddenly burst forth, transforming into 2 thick water chains that precisely wrapped around the limbs of the dark figure, binding it tightly in midair. It was a slightly smaller gourmet praying mantis. Before it could struggle, when Sa's figure appeared behind it like a ghost, his short sword flashing coldly. Uft! The mantis's head shot skyward. The entire process was smooth and incredibly fast. The girl who was ambushed was so frightened that she collapsed to the ground. After regaining her senses, she looked at Jiang Yi and when Sa with her eyes filled with gratitude for surviving the ordeal. Thank you, class monitor. Thank you, Sasa. Jiang Yi nodded, walked to the mantis corpse, and activated Overlord Body. A warm current flowed into my body. Although the improvement is minimal, it's better than nothing. It can at least help restore physical strength. This unexpected incident has made everyone more vigilant. Although the logging progress has been somewhat affected, it is still progressing steadily. Finally, at dusk. Squad leader. That's enough. We've collected all 1,000 units of the 7-colored glazed wood. Zhou Ling excitedly ran over to report, carrying the last piece of glasswood. Great! Jiang Yi exclaimed with delight. Everyone, call it a day and get back to the ship. Back to the Pangu. All materials are ready. Without the slightest hesitation, Jiang Yi immediately took out that epic blueprint. Blueprint, Tier 2 Power Core, Epic. Description: this allows you to build a powerful power core for your ship, unlocking the active sailing ability, increasing speed by 100%. You will no longer need to rely on sails, and can freely set your course and speed. Required materials: 1,000 rainbow glazed wood, 1 spider queen's venomous core, 5 storm cores, 5,000 refined iron, 10,000 charcoal. All materials are complete. Shall we begin construction? Yes. Jiang Yi silently recited in his heart. Chapter 45: The Second Tsunami. On the Pangu, Jiang Yi looked at the captain's panel. Ding. Materials confirmed. Construction of the Tier 2 Power Core has begun. Estimated time, 10 minutes. Under everyone's watchful eyes, a purple light appeared at the center of the ship, engulfing all the materials within it. The ship began to emit a slight rumble, as if a powerful heart was about to be implanted. Everyone held their breath, their eyes filled with anticipation. 10 minutes later. Buzz! A deep and powerful roar resounded throughout the entire ship. As the purple light faded, a metal core covered with intricate runes and energy channels was revealed, perfectly integrated into the ship's structure. Meanwhile, the simple rudder disappeared from the captain's console, replaced by a high-tech virtual control interface. Congratulations! The Pangu has successfully installed the tertiary power core. Ships unlock active navigation capability. Current maximum speed, 40 knots. You can now freely set the course and speed. It's a success. We did it. A thunderous cheer erupted on the deck. The girls hugged each other excitedly, laughing and jumping. From then on, they no longer had to rely on sails that depended on the weather, and could go wherever they wanted, just like true navigators. Jiang Yi stood in front of the cockpit, feeling the stable and surging power coming from beneath his feet, and couldn't help but smile. He reached out and tapped the virtual screen, setting a forward command. At the stern of the Pangu ship, 2 huge turbines created a dark blue vortex, and then suddenly spewed out 2 powerful jets of water. The entire ship shot forward like an arrow released from a bow, suddenly darting out of the area. Wow, that was fast. The girls screamed again, this time not out of fear, but out of pure excitement and thrill. It feels like finally switching from a bicycle to an electric bike, and no longer having to pedal. Of course, in some situations, Jiang Yi still prefers bicycles, because you can stand up and kick. He watched the speed soaring on the screen, gripped the virtual rudder, and jerked it sharply to the left. The massive hull of the Pangu drew a graceful arc, leaving a long white trail on the sea. It's as nimble as an arm, so flexible it doesn't feel like a 100-meter-long giant ship. From today onwards, Jiang Yi turned around and looked at the excited, smiling faces, announcing loudly, "The sea may be vast, but we can go wherever we want." Just as the whole ship was celebrating, a loud notification sound rang out in everyone's minds without warning. Poseidon announcement. The second global tsunami will arrive precisely at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The intensity of this tsunami will be dynamically adjusted based on the overall capabilities of each vessel. Survive or be swallowed up. Best of luck to everyone. The cheers on deck abruptly ceased. Poseidon's announcement was like a bucket of ice water, instantly extinguishing everyone's enthusiasm. Silence fell on the deck once again. A tsunami every 7 days? And it's adjusted based on strength? What does that mean? So, the stronger our ship is, the more powerful the tsunami will be? The smiles that had just appeared on the faces of some girls froze, replaced by panic and unease. The first tsunami in the Inland Sea, the scene that resembled the end of the world, is still vivid in my mind. This might not be a big deal for someone with a talent for combat, but for ordinary people, they don't have much ability to protect themselves. What's the panic? Jiang Ye's voice wasn't loud, but it instantly silenced all the commotion. There was no fear on his face. We used to be on rafts, and when tsunamis came, we could only tough it out. It was a natural disaster. He looked around, his gaze sweeping over the sturdy deck, the towering gunnels, and the newly installed power core. Now we are the Pangu, a Class 6 seagoing vessel. If another tsunami comes, it may not necessarily be a natural disaster. Jiang Yi paused for a moment. Maybe it's a buffet sent to us by the sea god. Buffet? The girls were all stunned. Only a few people, including Lin Jixia and Wen Sa, instantly understood Jiang Ye's meaning. The tsunami carries a large number of monsters. Defeating these monsters will not only yield treasure drops and materials, but also give you a chance to obtain rare items. With these, we can improve everyone's overall strength. It's like a survival of the fittest tournament. The more you fight and compete, the more you gain and the stronger you become. If you cower in fear, even if you are not destroyed by natural disasters, you will be sunk by other captains in the sea. The stronger the tsunami comes, the greater the corresponding rewards will be. That's right. Zhou Ling was the first to react, slamming the huge tower shield heavily onto the deck with a loud thud. The squad leader is right. We survived last time when we were so weak, so what are we afraid of now? No matter how many monsters come, I'll crush them all. That's right. We're all fully equipped with iron armor now, and we have over 40 crossbows. We also have our class monitors, Sea God's Entanglement. That's a legendary skill. Led by the core members, the girls' morale was reignited, and their fear was replaced by fighting spirit. Instead of being afraid, treat it as an opportunity to make a fortune. Very good. Jiang Yi nodded in satisfaction. He looked at Lin Jixia beside him. Sister Jixia, you arranged the tactics. Good. Lin Jixia was not intimidated at all. She immediately stepped forward and began to assign tasks in an orderly manner. According to the announcement from Poseidon, the tsunami is subject to dynamic adjustment, and we cannot let our guard down. Zhou Ling and Wen Sa, you two will remain the core melee fighters, responsible for dealing with the large monsters that board the deck. Ying Yao, your dragon treasure is our air superiority, responsible for reconnaissance and long-range fire suppression, but you are absolutely not allowed to charge without authorization. You must follow my orders. Su Tao, your bubble no longer needs to create fog. Instead, it should be used as a single target control to prioritize controlling fast and threatening monsters, creating opportunities for others to deal damage. Since it also serves a protective function, your task is relatively the most demanding. The rest of the sisters will be divided into 2 groups, taking turns using crossbows to provide long-range fire support and ensure continuous firepower. Wanxing, you are in charge of logistics and medical treatment. Be ready to rescue the wounded at any time. Lin Jixia's instructions were clear and precise, and everyone was placed in the most suitable position. As for me, she looked at Jiang Yi one last time, a hint of tenderness flashing in her beautiful eyes. I will use shrimp soldiers and crab generals to guard the bottom of the ship and prevent underwater monsters from attacking. Jiang Yi nodded and added, I will take control of the entire field, using Sea God's Entanglement and Weakness Insight to provide support at any time. With the tactical arrangements complete, everyone sprang into action. Check the weapons, replenish the crossbow bolts, prepare wound medicine. The entire Panga ship began to operate efficiently. Chapter 46, 2 Storm Cores, Epic Chest. Nothing was said that night. The next day, at 8:50 a.m., the Pangu hovered quietly on the surface of the Rainbow Sea. The sky was clear and the wind was calm, There was absolutely no sign of impending disaster. But the atmosphere on the ship was extremely heavy. Everyone was dressed in full suits of fine iron armor, holding weapons, and ready for battle. Jiang Yi stood at the bow of the ship, his gaze calmly fixed on the distant horizon. His physical constitution has increased to a terrifying 45 points in the past few days, and his mental strength has also risen to 132 points. This is the source of his confidence. Tsunami countdown, 1 minute. 00:59. A chilling countdown echoed in everyone's mind. Finally, at the moment the countdown reached 0. Boom! On the distant horizon, a visible black line was rushing toward them at an alarming speed. That was a terrifying giant wave, 10 meters high. Above the waves, there were countless bizarre sea monsters of all shapes and sizes, roaring and howling. Its scale and momentum were several times stronger than the one in the Inwind Sea. Oh my God! Even though they were mentally prepared, many girls still turned pale with fright when they saw this scene that looked like the sky was collapsing. Hold on. Jiang Ye's voice was like a stabilizing force. Remember, this is just a buffet. He took a deep breath and opened his arms. Sea God's entanglement. Splash, splash, splash. Centered on the Pangu ship, the seawater within a radius of 100 meters instantly boiled. Before everyone's shocked eyes, massive barriers made of seawater suddenly rose from the ground, forming an impregnable ring of defense in front of the Pangu. The defensive form of Sea God's entanglement. Boom! The terrifying tsunami waves crashed violently against the seawater barrier. The sea surface within a radius of a kilometer began to tremble violently at that moment. However, the seemingly indestructible giant wave was forcefully blocked. Countless monsters fell from the crest of the wave like dumplings, swept away by the raging torrent. But even more monsters used the impact to break through the barrier and crashed onto the deck of the Pangu in a massive wave. Fire! Lin Zhixiao's calm voice rang out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 20 fine iron crossbows, which had been waiting for a long time, instantly unleashed a deadly rain of arrows. A dense barrage of crossbow bolts created a metallic storm, riddling the first wave of monsters that charged forward with bullets. Roar! A gigantic monster, resembling a combination of a crab and an octopus, charged onto the deck amidst a hail of arrows, its 8 thick tentacles sweeping wildly across the battlefield. I'll do it. Zhou Ling let out a battle cry, her petite body bracing against the massive tower shield as she charged forward. Thump! The tentacle slammed into the tower shield with a loud bang. Zhou Ling grunted, her feet leaving 2 deep marks on the deck, but she managed to withstand the blow. Suff! Clear! A ghostly figure appeared behind the giant monster in an instant. One Sa's short sword, like the fangs of a venomous snake, precisely pierced the gap in the monster's carapace. Ah! The monster cried out in pain, letting out a piercing scream. Just then, Jiang Ye's voice rang out. The nerve center is located at the base of its 3rd pair of walking legs on its abdomen. Weakness in sight. Upon receiving the prompt, Wen Sa didn't hesitate to duck down and slide under the monster's belly, gripping the short sword in reverse and thrusting it upwards fiercely. Uft! The monster's screams abruptly ceased, and its massive body collapsed with a crash. Well done, Jiang Yi praised. Above the sky, Ying Yao rode on the back of the enlarged little dragon. Spurts of scorching dragon flames rained down, incinerating the flying monsters that attempted to ambush from the air. Su Tao's little mouth puffed up like a bun, and one by one, tough bubbles flew out, accurately trapping those extremely fast and strangely behaving monsters, making them live targets for the crossbow. The entire battlefield appeared chaotic, but under Lin Zhixia's command and Jiang Ye's assistance, it operated in an orderly and efficient manner. The monsters' corpses piled up more and more on the deck. The dropped rewards kept piling up, displaying various colors on the land and in the sea. We have supplies, exchange cards, and equipment, but unfortunately, now is not the time to clean up the battlefield. The girls went from being nervous at first to becoming increasingly excited. This is a bountiful feast. Boom! The second wave of the tsunami was higher and more powerful. An elite monster, over 10 meters tall, covered in jet-black scales and resembling a giant sea lizard, roared as it charged onto the deck. As soon as it landed, it opened its blood-red maw and spewed out a black beam of energy, aiming straight at the crossbow position. Careful! At the critical moment, Jiang Yi had a sudden thought. Splash! A gigantic hand formed from seawater suddenly rose from the ship's side, blocking the energy beam. Sizzle! The energy beam collided with the giant seawater hand, producing a piercing sound and sending up a large amount of water vapor. The giant seawater hand was quickly melted away, but it ultimately blocked this fatal blow. A great opportunity. A glint of light flashed in Jiang Ye's eyes. Everyone focus fire. Its mouth is its weak point. Without him saying anything, Ying Yao's dragon flames, Zhou Ling's thrown short spears, and dozens of crossbow bolts had already swept over the area. Before the giant sea lizard could launch a second attack, it was forced to retreat by the intense firepower, its body riddled with bloody holes. Charged up slash. Jiang Yi leaped high into the air, his epic level, mantis blade, flashing through the air with a cold light, carrying the terrifying power of 3 times the damage, descending from the sky like a king. Puff! The blade pierced precisely through the monitor lizard's wide-open mouth, penetrating its entire skull. Ding! You have successfully defeated the elite-level boss, Deep Sea Raider. Congratulations! You have obtained a special drop, Storm Core *1. An extra Storm Core? This thing is not only a high-level material, but more importantly, it's hard to obtain. Jiang Yi drew his long sword, landed steadily, and felt a surge of satisfaction. The tsunami lasted for a full hour. After the first beginner phase, the rule that killing monsters reduces the duration is no longer in effect. As the last wave receded, the sea finally returned to calm. The deck of the Pangu was piled high with monster corpses, and blood flowed like a river. Unfortunately, the flesh of these monsters is inedible, and they dare not eat it. What if eating it causes a mutation that I can't get rid of? Last time on the World Channel, I heard a guy say that after eating it, it split into 2. Some even have their eyeballs multiply into 4, one large and one small. At this moment, apart from a dozen or so girls who had suffered minor injuries, none of the girls on the ship were seriously injured or killed. Everyone was exhausted and collapsed on the ground, panting heavily, but their faces were filled with the joy and pride of victory. They used their own strength to once again crush this terrible natural disaster head-on. Ding! Congratulations to the Pangu for successfully withstanding the second tsunami. Based on your performance, final settlement is in progress. Congratulations. You have received the reward, Storm Core *1. Congratulations. You have received a reward, 1 epic chest. 2 beams of golden light descended from the sky, and a storm core and a magnificent purple treasure chest floated silently in front of Jiang Yi. Chapter 47 The Siren's Ring. Yay! An epic chest. We have another epic chest. After a brief silence, cheers erupted from the girls on deck. They helped each other to their feet, looking at the mountain of spoils and the reward floating in front of Jiang Yi. Their sweaty faces were filled with excitement and pride. This time, they were no longer a burden hiding behind the captain, but true comrades in arms who participated and fought side by side. The sense of accomplishment from creating victory with your own hands is unparalleled. Clean up the battlefield. Jiang Yi put away the reward and waved his hand dismissively. Having learned from their first experience, the girls became quite adept at it. Lin Zhixia's shrimp soldiers and crab generals, babies once again transformed into diligent cleaners, dragging the monster's corpse into the sea. The others carried buckets and washed the bloodstains off the deck. Jiang Ye then used the resources in the ship's hold to repair the vessel. The repairs alone cost over 50,000 wooden planks, over 8,000 iron blocks, and various other materials. Soon, the Pangu was cleaned up again. Jiang Yi looked at the crew members, who were exhausted but full of energy, and felt a mix of emotions. This team, composed entirely of female students from the art class, has, under his leadership, begun to take shape as an elite all-female team. All right, you've all worked hard. Jiang Yi clapped his hands, attracting everyone's attention. Everyone performed very well today, especially Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Yao, and Su Tao. The four of you played a crucial role. Those whose names were called all wore proud smiles. Yao raised her chin and snorted, as if to say, "Of course, who do you think I am?" However, Jiang Yi changed the subject, his gaze falling on a gentle figure in the corner who was quietly cleaning Xiang Wanqing's wounds. If we're talking about who deserves the most credit, it has to be our auspicious baby. Jiang Yi's gaze gently settled on Wen Ruan. Whoosh! All eyes were instantly focused. Wen Ruan, who was bending down to wrap bandages around Xiang Wanqing's wrist, suddenly stiffened, and her face turned bright red at a visible speed. She raised her head, her large, watery eyes looking at Jiang Yi with a hint of confusion and helplessness. Class monitor. If it weren't for Ruan's superb luck, we wouldn't have been able to draw Sea God's entanglement yesterday, and today's battle would definitely not have been so easy, Jiang Yi said with a smile. That's right. Ruan is our lucky charm. Ruan is the best. Ruan should know that I have no objection to Sister Xia's number 2. From now on, we'll have to rely on Ruan to open treasure chests. Everyone chimed in, and the good-natured teasing and praise made Ruan even more shy, wishing she could bury her head in her chest. Wen Sa rolled her eyes at the sight and nudged her older sister with her elbow. Look at you. I'm praising you. Why are you hiding? Jiang Yi smiled and waved his hand, signaling everyone to be quiet. He walked step by step to Wen Ruan, and under the gossipy gazes of everyone, he slowly squatted down to look her in the eye. Ruan. His voice was so gentle it could melt your heart. I told you back on the island that I would give you an even bigger reward. Do you remember? Boom. Wen Ruan's mind went blank for a moment, with only the sound of her heart pounding wildly. She remembers. How could she not remember? Because of this promise, she has been somewhat absent-minded these past 2 days. The girls around instantly turned into onlookers, their eyes wide and ears perked up. Wen Sa clenched her fists excitedly, shouting in her heart, "Charge! Class monitor! Take down my sister! Give me 10 more of those kids! I'm going to be an ant!" Wen Ruan was so nervous that she couldn't even finish her sentence, her fingers twisting the hem of her clothes helplessly. Jiang Yi stopped teasing her. In front of everyone, he reached out and gently tucked a strand of Wen Ruan's sweat-dampened hair behind her ear. His fingertips traced her warm earlobe, intentionally or unintentionally. Wen Ruan's body went limp as if struck by lightning. You're the one to open the epic chest tonight. This can also be considered one of the rewards. Jiang Yi's voice had a seductive magnetism. As for the other reward, he slowly leaned close to her ear and whispered in a voice only the two of them could hear. Come to my room tonight. I will teach you some combat techniques that only the two of us can learn. Wen Ruan's pupils suddenly dilated, and a surge of heat rushed from the soles of her feet to the top of her head. She felt dizzy and disoriented, as if she were soaking in a honey pot, so sweet that she was about to faint. Even greater fear and panic were lurking in my mind. All right, let's open the treasure chest. Jiang Yi straightened up, as if nothing had happened, clapped his hands, and placed the magnificent epic treasure chest in the center of the deck. When Ruan was left standing there, her face flushed red, the words "come to my room" echoing in her mind. Ruan. When Sa gave her a hard push before she came to her senses. Sis, what are you daydreaming about? The class monitor wants you to open the treasure chest. When Sa said in a low voice, looking at her with exasperation. What did he just say to you? You look so distracted. Did he dump you? No, I didn't. When Ruan retorted instinctively, her voice barely audible. She dared not look at her sister, nor at anyone else, and could only move her weak legs step by step to the treasure chest. Breathe. When Ruan took several deep breaths before she could barely calm herself down. She closed her eyes, clasped her hands together, and silently recited, "The class monitor is the best to me," before reverently placing her hands on the treasure chest. Snap! The treasure chest opened with a click. This time, there was no soaring light. Only 2 items lay quietly within. Everyone gathered around curiously. The first item was a blue drawing that shimmered with a blue light. Blueprints. Basic ecological park upgrade components. Quality. Excellent, blue. Effect. upgrades the basic ecological park to the intermediate ecological park, unlocking the soil improvement and species cultivation functions. Required materials: 100 fertile soil, 1 life essence, 500 wooden planks. It's the blueprints for the ecological park's upgrade. Xiang Wanqing exclaimed in surprise. If she can upgrade, she will be able to try cultivating some special plants, vegetables, and grains. Jiang Yi nodded. This thing was very useful. After all, people are tired of eating bread and various kinds of fish and meat these days. Although vegetables can occasionally be caught in the sea, the quantity is extremely small, and they are not even seen in trading markets. If this continues, everyone will become vitamin deficient. But things are different now. As long as we can get the seeds and get this going, with Xiang Wanqing's talent, the baby girls should be able to eat fresh vegetables soon. Next, Jiang Yi looked at the second item. It was a ring, made entirely of an unknown blue crystal, with intricate wave patterns engraved on it. Equipment: Ring of the Siren. Quality: Epic, purple. Equipment requirements: 100 spirit points. Effect 1, mental recovery speed plus 30%. Effect 2, water element skill cost dash 20%. Effect 3, can store 1 water elemental skill and release it instantly. It's actually an epic level spirit type equipment. Jiang Ye's eyes lit up. This ring is practically tailor-made for him. Both Sea God's Entanglement and Lin Zhixia's Shrimp Soldiers and Crab Generals are major consumers of mental energy. With this ring, his battery life will be greatly improved. Furthermore, he can store a skill. Each time he releases a skill, he needs to sense the seawater and then condense it before he can release it, which takes a considerable amount of time and makes it difficult to react at the last second. But now that we have this, things are different. He can store a powerful move inside and release it instantly. Lin Zhixia clearly recognized the power of the ring. Her eyes filled with surprise, but she showed no intention of competing with Jiang Yi for it. After all, she herself now belongs to Jiang Yi. It's just right for me. Jiang Yi put the siren's ring on his hand without any hesitation. A cool sensation instantly spread throughout his body, allowing his depleted mental energy to recover at a faster pace. Chapter 48. Inventorying the spoils of war. Everyone gets a major boost. On the deck, the afterglow of the celebration had not yet dissipated. Jiang Yi put on the sea siren ring and felt a cool sensation spread from his fingertips to his mind. His mind, which had been somewhat drowsy from activating Sea God's Entanglement for a long time, was instantly cleared. The effect of increasing mental energy recovery speed by 30% is immediate. All right, stop grinning like an idiot. Jiang Yi clapped his hands, drawing the girl's attention away from the epic equipment. He pointed to the pile of orbs of light that the monster had dropped and that hadn't yet been picked up on his nail plate. Time to open other blind boxes. Look at our buffet. What wonderful things the sea god has given us. Yay! The girls immediately sprang into action with excitement. Zhou Ling took the lead, like a diligent little bee, picking up the scattered orbs of light in the corner of the deck one by one and piling them up in front of Jiang Yi. The others also gathered the items they had dropped from their own combat areas. Soon, a colorful little mountain was piled up in the center of the deck. The white is ordinary, the green is exquisite, and occasionally you can see a few glimpses of excellent blue. Lin Zhixia took a small notebook and began to count and record. Basic materials: approximately 30,000 units of wooden planks, 12,000 units of plastic, 8,000 units of iron blocks, and 3,000 complex parts. Food items: 200 servings of bread, 300 servings of compressed biscuits, and 100 servings of dried meat. Special items: 1 blueprint, 4 exquisite crossbow bolts, 3 small boat cards, 1 small fishing net. These are all regular drops, and although the quantity is considerable, they are not very attractive to Jiang Yi, who has unlimited resources. However, for the team as a whole, this is still a huge sum of money. Wait, Sister Zhixia, what is this? With her sharp eyes, Su Tao rummaged through a pile of supplies and pulled out a blue drawing that was shimmering with blue light. Lin Zhixia took it, and a hint of surprise flashing in her beautiful eyes. Blueprint: simple arrow tower. Quality: excellent, blue. Effect: allows the construction of a simple arrow tower on a ship. It automatically targets and fires at an altitude of 100 meters, consuming crossbow bolts. Required materials: 2,000 planks, 500 iron blocks, 100 fine wood, 1 storm core. Arrow tower. Automatic attack. Wow, that means we can keep it running even while we sleep. The girls immediately became excited. Jiang Ye's eyes lit up as well. This thing is great. A mobile turret that can greatly enhance the defensive firepower of the Pangu. They are the best security guards, especially when they are resting. Although they need storm cores, they've just acquired 2, which is more than enough. Put it away, we'll build it later. The inventory continues. Squad leader, look at this. Xiang Wanqing held up a green card and handed it over, her voice carrying a hint of barely perceptible excitement. That was a redemption card. Seed redemption card, exquisite. Effect: after use, you can choose 3 seeds from the following list to exchange for. Exchangeable items: potato seeds *10, tomato seeds *10, cabbage seeds *10, wheat seeds *5. Seed. Wow. We can grow our own vegetables now. Wow, I never want to eat grilled fish and bread again. I want to eat scrambled eggs with tomatoes. My DNA is kicking in. The appearance of this card caused an even greater sensation than the Arrow Tower blueprints. For these girls who had been eating fish, meat, and dry food for almost a month, the allure of fresh vegetables was irresistible. Xiang Wanqing was so excited that her face turned red. Her D-level talent, Plant Affinity, finally had a chance to be used. Wanqing, the ecological park and these seeds are now in your hands, Jiang Yi said to her with a smile. Yes. Xiang Wanqing nodded emphatically, her eyes filled with enthusiasm and the joy of being recognized. Just then, when Sa exclaimed, "Huh," and picked up a card emitting a faint white light from beside the corpse of an elite monster, the Deep-Sea Raider. What is this thing? It doesn't look worth much. She pursed her lips and handed it to Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi took it and glanced at it, his pupils shrinking slightly. D-rank talent awakening card. Quality, standard, white. Effect: allows an unawakened talent user to randomly awaken a D-rank talent. Talent awakening card. Although it's only the lowest grade, D, this thing is more valuable than epic equipment in some ways. It represents the possibility of an ordinary person possessing extraordinary power. There were 41 girls on the ship, and many of them were ordinary people. For them, this card was a chance to change their destiny. In an instant, all the girls whose talents had not yet been awakened began to breathe rapidly. All eyes were fixed on the card in Jiang Ye's hand. Jiang Yi looked around, taking in everyone's expressions. To whom? That is the question. For core members? They all have them. After a moment's thought, Jiang Yi made a decision. His gaze fell on a slightly chubby, introverted girl who had been silently following behind Zhou Ling, helping to move supplies. Zhang Xiaopeng, come here. The girl whose name was called was startled and nervously pointed to herself. Class monitor, you called me? Yes, it's you. Jiang Yi smiled and waved at her. Zhang Xiaopeng is the nice guy in the class. He doesn't talk much, but he's very reliable. He was also the one who worked the hardest to clean up the mess just now. She moved step by step to Jiang Yi, so nervous that she didn't know where to put her hands. Squad leader. Don't be nervous. Jiang Yi handed the talent card to her. This card is for you. Give to me. Zhang Xiaopeng's eyes widened instantly, his face filled with disbelief. The girls around were also stunned. They didn't expect Jiang Yi to give such a precious thing to a classmate who usually didn't stand out. Why me? Zhang Xiaopeng's voice trembled. Because you just moved the most corpses and exerted the most effort. Jiang Ye's reasoning was simple and direct. Everyone risked their lives during this tsunami. As a reward, you deserve a lot of credit. There are no complicated calculations, no distinctions of kinship or distance. It is simply the most basic distribution according to work. YYDS. Zhang Xiaopeng's eyes instantly reddened. She never expected that simply doing a little extra work would earn her such recognition and reward from the class monitor. Thank you, class monitor, she choked out as she accepted the card. Under everyone's watchful eyes, she used the card. A beam of white light merged into her body. Ding! Zhang Xiaopeng has successfully awakened his talent, rank D Gourmet. Talent. Gourmet, the level you possess a taste buds far exceeding those of ordinary people, capable of discerning whether ingredients are poisonous, and able to enhance the flavor of food through cooking. A life skills talent. Moreover, it is one of the talents that the team needs most right now. After all, if we find something on other islands in the future, we won't have to blindly test it. Moreover, it can improve the quality of life, which is quite nice. Great. We won't have to worry about eating poisonous things anymore. Little fatty. From now on, our meals will depend on you. Everyone congratulated her, and Zhang Xiaoping nodded excitedly, his eyes filled with gratitude as he looked at Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi nodded in satisfaction. The result was quite good. A seemingly insignificant act not only yielded a valuable logistics talent, but more importantly, it conveyed a message to everyone. In this team, as long as you work hard and make contributions, you will be rewarded. This is more effective than any empty promises. Finally, a blue skill book was also found among the loot. Skill book, Bubble Guardian. Quality, excellent, blue. Learning requirements. Individuals with bubble-related talents. Effect, applies a bubble shield to the target, blocking one fatal attack. Cooldown, 24 hours. Su Tao, this is for you. Jiang Yi handed the skill book directly to the cute girl with twin ponytails. Ah, is this for me? Su Tao was flattered, her face flushed. With your bubble control and a protective skill, you'll be our team's chief support from now on, Jiang Yi encouraged. After learning the skill, Su Tao nodded vigorously, feeling the increased information in her mind, her eyes filled with determination. After the spoils were tallied, the team had a very fruitful harvest, and the strength and morale of the entire team had been greatly boosted. Even those who haven't acquired the talent are starting to look forward to getting this talent card next time. The atmosphere on the deck was jubilant. Jiang Yi watched this scene with a sense of peace in his heart. His gaze swept past the cheering crowd and toward the captain's cabin, a wicked smile playing on his lips. All the daytime rewards have been distributed. So what's next? It's time for him to collect his reward, which belongs only to him. Chapter 49, When Ruan's Reward. The third infinite transformation. The night was as dark as ink, and the sea breeze carried a faint saltiness. The Pangu sailed quietly, with only the turbines on both sides of the ship leaving dark blue trails that carved two long ripples on the sea surface. Most of the girls, exhausted from the day's fierce battles and the night's revelry, had already gone to their cabins to sleep. Inside the captain's cabin, the lights were bright. When Ruan stood awkwardly at the door, her small hands tightly gripping the hem of her clothes, her heart pounding in her throat. She doesn't know how she got to where she is today. She was half pushed and half forced out of the room by her younger sister Wensa. Her head was spinning, and when she came to her senses, she was already standing here. Class monitor. She mustered her courage and gently knocked on the door. Come in. Jiang Ye's voice came from inside the door, calm and gentle. When Ruan pushed open the door and saw Jiang Yi sitting at the table, wiping his epic level, mantis blade, by the light. He shed his daytime armor, wearing only a clean white shirt with the cuffs casually rolled up to his elbows, revealing his muscular forearms. Her focused expression and earnest profile, under the light, created a picture that made her heart race. Class monitor, are you looking for me? When Ruan's voice was as soft as a kitten's meow, and her cheeks were burning hot. Jiang Yi put down his long sword, looked up at her, and smiled. I didn't come looking for you. You came on your own. When Ruan was speechless, her face turning even redder. That scoundrel, he was the one who sent him here. He also said he would teach him some combat techniques that only two people could learn. The thought of this made when Ruan's legs go weak and her mind go completely blank. An ambiguous atmosphere fermented in the small captain's cabin. There were no other girls present, no more daytime noise, only the sound of waves crashing against the boat and the air between the two gradually warming up. Jiang Yi stood up and walked towards her step by step. He was very tall, when Ruan had to tilt her head slightly to see his face. As he drew closer, a surge of male hormones, mixed with the faint scent of sweat and sunshine, enveloped her completely. When Ruan nervously closed her eyes, her long eyelashes trembling uneasily like butterfly wings. She felt like a lamb to the slaughter, yet a secret, shameful expectation arose within her. Jiang Yi didn't speak, but simply reached out and gently, tenderly, took her cold little hand in his. "Why are your hands so cold?" His warm palms, like a warm current, instantly spread throughout her body. When Ruan's body trembled slightly, as if she had been electrocuted. I'm fine." Jiang Yi pulled her along to the huge floor-to-ceiling windows of the captain's cabin. Outside the window is a deep starry sky and an endless sea. Moonlight shines on the sea, creating shimmering waves, a scene of breathtaking beauty. Ruan. Jiang Yi gently wrapped his arms around her waist from behind. When Ruan's body stiffened instantly, and her mind went blank. She could clearly feel the strong, powerful heartbeat emanating from his chest through the thin fabric of his clothes. Thump, thump, thump. Each sound seemed to strike her heart. You still remember? Jiang Ye's chin gently rested on the top of her head, his warm breath spraying against her ear. "After the first tsunami, you secretly drew lots for me and said I had a great opportunity." When Ruan nodded dazedly. "From that day on, I felt that you were not some kind of auspicious baby." Jiang Ye's voice was deep and magnetic, like the melody of a cello, flowing gently in her ears. "You are my lucky charm. Without you, we wouldn't have any of our lucky buffs." "So, Ruan." He gently turned her body around so that she was facing him. Their eyes met. In those deep eyes, when Ruan saw shattered starlight and a clear reflection that belonged only to her. "You have to take this reward." As soon as he finished speaking, he slowly lowered his head. When Ruan's pupils suddenly dilated, and she could clearly see his face growing larger and larger in front of her until his lips gently pressed against hers. Soft and warm. It carried a hint of something irresistible. Boom. When Ruan's world completely melted away at this moment. All the tension, shyness, and unease vanished in that kiss, transforming into a sky full of fireworks. She responded to him awkwardly and shyly. From initial bewilderment to being led astray by him, gradually sinking into despair, as if plunging into the ocean. She felt as if she were melting, turning into a pool of spring water, being held in his arms. The moonlight outside the window had become hazy at some point, gently enveloping the two people who were tightly embracing, as if draping them in a sacred veil. The sound of the waves faded into the distance, and the gentle rocking of the boat became an aphrodisiac lullaby. Half an hour later, Jiang Yi helped her take off her white shoes. "Aren't you going to take off your stockings?" "I won't take it off anymore. It's effective." After Jiang Yi finished speaking, he helped her put the white stockings, which she had only taken off halfway, back on. This night was very long. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight streamed through the porthole and fell onto the large bed in the captain's cabin. When Ruan was awakened by a slight itching sensation, she opened her eyes groggily and saw Jiang Yi lying on his side next to her, gently touching the tip of her nose with a strand of his hair. "Squad leader." She spoke instinctively, her voice carrying a hint of hangover-like hoarseness and languor. Memories of last night flooded back like a tide. When Ruan's face flushed bright red instantly, like a ripe apple, and she wished she could immediately crawl into the quilt. "Good morning, my lucky charm." Jiang Yi smiled and gently placed a good morning kiss on her smooth forehead. When Ruan was so happy she almost fainted. However, at that moment, a cold, mechanical voice exploded in Jiang Ye's mind. "Ding! Congratulations, host, you have successfully conceived your second child. High potential for offspring bloodline detected. Congratulations. You have been granted your third, unlimited conversion opportunity. Please select the item you wish to convert to infinity. It's here." A brilliant light flashed in Jiang Ye's eyes. The third opportunity for unlimited transformation. He held Ruan, who was blushing so deeply she looked like she was about to burst into flames, in his arms, and an indescribable joy welled up in his heart. The many children, many blessings system, YYDS. What should we choose this time? Chapter 50 Infinite Storm Core, Great Wall, at Sea Complete Form. After leaving the captain's cabin, amidst the ambiguous laughter of her companions, when Ruan blushed and ran back to her room. Especially her younger sister, Sa, who crossed her arms and looked her up and down several times. Finally, he clicked his tongue twice and said something that made her want to crawl into a hole and disappear. Sis, why are you walking like that? Did you go mining at the bottom of the ship last night? All morning, the atmosphere on the Pangu was filled with a pinkish, gossipy vibe. Jiang Yi, the instigator, acted as if nothing had happened and locked himself in the captain's cabin. A virtual panel for his backpack floated in front of him. The third empty, unlimited resources slot was gleaming with an enticing light. What should we choose this time? Wooden planks? Plastic? Food? These thoughts flashed through Jiang Ye's mind only briefly before he dismissed them. Although these basic resources are consumed in huge quantities, they can now be obtained through various means such as trading and salvage. With unlimited fresh water and unlimited iron blocks, he was essentially a hard currency in the trading market. Choosing another basic resource is merely icing on the cake. It won't bring about a qualitative change. We need to broaden our horizons. Choose the truly rare, critical, strategic resources that can hold everyone's survival at risk. Jiang Ye's gaze fell on the two storm cores, emitting a faint glow in his backpack. For such a significant decision, he needs someone's opinion. Sister Jixia, come to the captain's cabin for a moment. He called Lin Jixia via the internal communicator. Soon, Lin Jixia, dressed in a well-fitting office lady suit and wearing black high heels, pushed open the door and entered. Her long, wavy golden hair swayed slightly as she walked, exuding a charming and mature aura. Upon seeing Jiang Yi, she first smiled gently, then her gaze fell on the empty seat next to him, her eyes carrying a knowing, teasing look. It seems our team will soon welcome its fourth, key protection target. Jiang Yi coughed lightly, knowing he couldn't hide it from this meticulous strategist. Let's get down to business. Our third chance has arrived, and I'm planning to use it on the Storm Core. What do you think? Lin Jixia's smile vanished instantly, replaced by solemnity and contemplation. She walked up to the nautical chart and slowly ran her slender fingers across it. I analyzed all the information from the world's channels and trading markets. Although the prices of basic necessities such as food have been rising, the supply has always been there. We can always get it if we're willing to pay the price. But the Storm Core is too difficult to obtain. It's a real bottleneck limitation. Lin Jixia turned around, her beautiful eyes sparkling. Either it's the reward for resisting the tsunami, or it's a special drop from killing the captain, or it's killing some extremely rare elite boss. Each one comes with enormous risks and luck. It is also a necessity for upgrading advanced ships and building advanced weapon modules. The epicenter of the current storm in the trading market has been driven to exorbitant prices, and there are no buyers even if the price is right. She paused for a moment, then gave her conclusion. If we had an infinite number of storm cores, then we wouldn't just be one version ahead. We skipped this version entirely, stood at the finish line for everyone, and launched a devastating attack on them. More importantly, a sharp glint flashed in Lin Jixia's eyes. We can use it to leverage the resources of the entire world. Jiang Yi instantly understood what she meant. They can use the infinite storm core to trade for anything they need in the trading market. Rare blueprints, special items, and even specialties from other sea areas. Freshwater can also be traded, but since it can be obtained through fishing, it's not rare enough. But the core of the storm is different. It has high value and strong demand. Anyone who wants to develop cannot avoid this thing. If you want to develop, you can't do without this. I see. Jiang Yi no longer hesitated. With a thought, he selected the Storm Core from his backpack. Confirmed use of the third infinite conversion opportunity, conversion target. Storm Core. Ding. Conversion successful. On the backpack panel, the words Storm Core X2 blurred for a moment, then turned into several large characters. Storm Core plus infinity. It's done. Jiang Yi and Lin Jixiao exchanged a glance, both seeing barely suppressed excitement in each other's eyes. From this day forward, they will have the confidence to build everything. Then, Jiang Yi took a deep breath and took out the magnificent blueprint that had been stored for a long time and was radiating an epic purple light from his backpack. Blueprints. Great Wall at Sea Luxury Cruise Ship, complete set. Let's begin. Jiang Yi slapped the blueprints onto the construction platform. After the second tsunami, The resources needed for construction have been collected and stored in a warehouse. Build the Great Wall at Sea. Ding. Complete set of blueprints detected. Initiating fusion and construction. Required materials: 100,000 planks, 10,000 iron blocks, 5 storm cores. Materials testing in progress. All materials confirmed. Construction to begin. Boom. The entire Pangu ship suddenly shuddered. A purple light, more dazzling than any previous upgrade, enveloped the entire ship. On the deck, all the girls rushed out in shock, staring in disbelief at the scene before them. The Pangu beneath their feet is undergoing earth-shattering changes at a speed visible to the naked eye. The ship's hull stretched and widened continuously in the purple light, as if an invisible giant hand was reshaping it. The wooden structure was replaced by sturdy metal armor, and rows of dark cannon muzzles automatically extended from both sides of the ship. A menacing dragon head ram is slowly taking shape at the bow of the ship. At the stern, the turbine of the second stage power core became even larger. It's like upgrading from a slingshot to a Pro Max version. 10 minutes later, the light slowly faded away. A luxurious steel behemoth, resembling a mobile fortress at sea, has replaced the original Pangu and floats silently on the surface of the ocean. It is 150 meters long and nearly 40 meters wide, with a dark gold color and smooth, powerful lines. Inside the ship, the classical charm of the East is perfectly combined with the intricate workings of mechanical engineering. Congratulations! The Great Wall at Sea is now complete. Quality: Epic, Purple. Level: 6. Dimensions: 150m * 38m * 25m Durability: 20,000/20,000. Powertrain: Tier 2 Power Core. Maximum speed 45 knots. Equipped modules: Tier 2 Armory, Intermediate Ecological Park, Main Control Cab, 30 simple cannons, 3 simple arrow towers. Special Attribute 1. Keelback Body, Ship Defense plus 50%, Impact Damage plus 100%. Special Attribute 2. Energy Hub, Energy Consumption of all shipboard equipment minus 10%. This is our ship? Zhou Ling stared in disbelief, rubbing her eyes hard. So cool. This is the real Great Wall Cannon at Sea. Everyone was awestruck by the magnificence of this newborn behemoth and erupted in thunderous cheers. Jiang Yi stood in the brand-new captain's cockpit, feeling the rock-solid power emanating from beneath his feet, and his heart was filled with pride. This is just the beginning. He looked at Lin Zhixiao beside him. How do you feel about our new home? Perfect. Lin Zhixiao's eyes also shone with admiration. We now possess sturdy shields and sharp spears, but... She changed the subject and pointed to the newly upgraded Intermediate Ecological Park. Our granaries are still empty. Xiang Wanqing just reported that the seed card has been redeemed, but the soil improvement and species breeding functions require a special life soil as a base in order to cultivate high yield and special crops. Jiang Yi immediately understood what she meant. He walked up to the huge world map of oceans, and Lin Zhixia's slender finger was already pointing to a brand new ocean area on the map. Based on the map and my analysis of the scattered information from the World Channel, this place most likely contains what we need. Jiang Yi looked at the name of that sea area. Ordinary sea areas. There are few special resources produced, but there is an abundance of different types of resources, and anything can potentially be created here. It can be described as an excellent place for adventure. Jiang Yi turned around and activated the ship's public address system, his clear voice echoing throughout every corner of the Great Wall at Sea. Attention everyone. Our next stop. Swords pointed at ordinary sea areas. Chapter 51 New Voyage and the Squad Leader's Special Supplies. Rainbow Sea. The Panga set sail silently yet swiftly. The powerful propulsion provided by the second stage power core allowed this 150-meter-long steel behemoth to carve a perfect white trail across the sea, yet with almost no annoying noise. The silky smooth experience of a top-tier cruise ship is nothing more than this. On the deck, the girls completely let loose. After enduring so much repression and battle, now possessing such a sturdy mobile fortress, my sense of security is off the charts. One by one, they took off their heavy leather armor, and put on cool clothes. Tank top and athletic shorts. Occasionally, a few pleated skirts fluttered in the wind, revealing fair and slender legs, forming a beautiful scene on the deck. The scent of youthful hormones, mixed with the salty dampness of the sea breeze, hits you in the face. Zhou Ling, carrying a fishing rod, sat casually on the side of the boat, his two long, muscular, wheat-colored legs swinging back and forth. She doesn't use any techniques at all. She relies purely on her natural strongman talent. As soon as she feels the fishing line sink, she exerts her strength directly. Hey! She pulled a half-meter-long fish straight out of the water, sending it flying in an arc through the air before it landed precisely in the bucket behind her, splashing a large amount of water. Ha! Extra food tonight. The scene at Su Tao, not far away, was quite different. She crouched by the boat, carefully wrapping the bait with her own bubbles, and then, like flying a kite, sent the bubbles into deeper waters. Those round, almond-shaped eyes stared intently at the water, tense yet expectant, just like a kitten waiting for its owner to feed it. Ying Yao held her dragon baby, looking at the ordinary sea fish splashing around with disdain. Xiaobao, what's so good about these miscellaneous fish? She patted Longbao's head and whispered a promise. When we get to the new place, Mom will catch some elite monsters for you as snacks. Whoa! Longbao affectionately rubbed her cheek in agreement. When Ruan sat quietly under the parasol, holding a book she had just caught, but her gaze kept drifting toward the captain's cabin, and a blush on her cheeks that she couldn't hide. When she occasionally got up to pour water, her slightly stiff and unnatural walking posture immediately aroused whispers among her girlfriends. Hey, look at the class monitor. Why is he walking like that? It seems like I didn't sleep well last night. My legs look weak. Ying Yao, who was in the corner, pricked up her ears, seemingly wiping her crossbow. But in reality, she kept her eyes fixed on Wen Ruan. She looked at Wen Ruan's face, which glowed like a peach, and the spring-like feeling that couldn't be hidden in her eyes and brows, and secretly clenched her teeth. Cut! She muttered something under her breath, so softly that only she and the baby dragon in her arms could hear it. It's just that the class monitor gave me some private tutoring. What's the big deal? That's what she said, but in her beautiful eyes, there was a hint of curiosity and envy that she herself didn't even realize. I wonder if that kind of thing really feels good. Just then, a few girls also walked awkwardly to the door of the captain's cabin. The leader was a lively and lovely girl named Li. Behind her were 2 or 3 girls whose faces were pale and who were clutching their lower abdomens. Knock, knock, knock. Come in. Jiang Yi was studying the huge world nautical chart when he heard the sound and looked up at the doorway. Class monitor. Li clutched her clothes somewhat embarrassedly, her face clearly showing her reluctance to speak. Jiang Yi's heart skipped a beat when he saw their expressions. What's wrong? Is anyone feeling unwell? It's not that I'm feeling unwell. Li gritted her teeth and decided to go all out, directly grabbing Jiang Yi's arm and shaking it. Squad leader, our personal period has arrived. The girls behind her echoed in whispers. Mine too. My stomach hurts so much. Jiang Yi was taken aback at first, then immediately understood. Damn, I forgot about that. After 2 weeks of ocean survival, these girls' menstrual cycles should be starting soon. Previously, everyone was on edge due to the shortage of supplies, and their bodies were probably all out of order. Now that life has become comfortable, all sorts of problems have started to arise. Are you out of sanitary napkins? Jiang Yi asked directly. The girls nodded like chicks pecking at rice, their eyes looking pitiful, like a group of abandoned puppies. We used it sparingly before, and it's all gone now. You're the best, class monitor. You must have a way, right? Li grabbed his arm and shook it vigorously, coaxing and cajoling him. Jiang Yi was in a real bind. Where can he conjure this thing? But what could he say when he looked at the girls' faces, which were full of trust and reliance? All right, stop shaking, I'll think of something. He calmed the girls down and then opened the captain's trading market. The trading market today is no longer what it used to be. A wide variety of goods are on display, but prices have also risen accordingly. Jiang Yi directly typed sanitary napkins into the search bar. The next second, more than a dozen listings popped up. Product, 1 pack of daily use sanitary napkins. Seller, Wang Dachui. Price, 10 bottles of purified water or 5 kilograms of fresh fish. Note, damn it. Who the hell hoarded this stuff? My girlfriend is in so much pain from it. I'm offering a high price to buy it. Product, 1 pack of overnight sanitary napkins. Seller, Watanabe Koro. Price, 100 planks or 10 iron blocks. Note, Sakura-chan needs this, please. I'm begging you. The price is outrageously high. A pack of sanitary napkins, which cost only tens or hundreds of yuan before the time travel, can now be exchanged for 10 bottles of water. It's important to know that water is a form of hard currency in the ocean world, just as important as food. The incident caused a huge uproar on the World Channel. Holy crap, are you kidding me? A pack of sanitary napkins for 10 bottles of water? This is sanitary napkin assassin. Hey upstairs, don't you have a wife or girlfriend? You'll understand once you have it. This thing is more important than life itself. I'm so upset. 3 girls from my ship came here together, and now they're all rolling around in bed in agony. Does anyone have sanitary napkins they can sell me? I'll trade them for weapon blueprints. Wah, I want to go home. I miss my ibuprofen. It hurts so much I feel like I'm dying. Jiang Yi looked at this information with a strange expression. What others consider an astronomical price is nothing to him. He went directly to a seller with the largest inventory, who had listed a full 50 packs. Private chat channel. Jiang Yi, I'll take all of your sanitary napkins. The other party replied instantly. Seller, Zhao Sihai bro? Are you sure? I need 50 packs for 500 bottles of purified water. You didn't mistype, did you? Jiang Yi. Okay, let's make a deal. Seller, Zhao Sihai, holy crap. Boss, do you have that many girls around you? Jiang Yi was too lazy to waste words with him and directly created a trade. Ding. Transaction successful. You have received 50 packs of daily sanitary napkins. You have consumed 500 bottles of purified water. After doing all this, Jiang Yi swept up all the related products on the market, including daytime and nighttime products and panty liners, buying a total of 2 large boxes. At the entrance, Li and several other girls were waiting expectantly. When they saw Jiang Yi take 2 large boxes of brand new sanitary napkins out of his backpack, everyone was stunned. Class monitor. These are all for us. Yes. Jiang Yi nodded. There are 41 girls on the ship. From now on, these will be strategic resources. Zhixiao will manage them and distribute them as needed. Wow. Li was the first to cheer, rushing over to give Jiang Yi a big bear hug and pinning him down as a reward. Class monitor, you're so great. YYDS. I love you to death. The other girls were also so excited that their eyes reddened, and they gathered around one by one. Thank you, class monitor. Long live the squad leader. The troubles of happiness are nothing more than this. Jiang, a friend of women, felt a sense of peace as she watched the joyful girls. With just a few hundred bottles of unlimited mineral water, they forged team cohesion and won the girls' unwavering loyalty. This deal opened up new possibilities and resulted in a huge profit. This incident also made all the girls on the ship realize something profound once again. Their class monitor is not only an invincible war god, but also an omnipotent doryman. There's nothing he can't do if he sets his mind to it. The several days of sailing passed slowly in such warm and joyful daily routines. The evening of the 4th day, in the captain's cockpit, Lin Zhixia's voice carried a hint of solemnity. Jiang Yi, we're almost there. On the nautical chart, a golden dot representing their location is about to overlap with a vast area marked Ordinary Sea Area. 1 nautical mile ahead, we will enter the next sea area. Everyone, get ready. Jiang Yi's voice echoed throughout the ship via the loudspeaker. It's time to see just how extraordinary this ordinary sea area really is. Chapter 52, A Talking Island. As the bow of the Pangu crossed that invisible sea boundary, everyone sensed something was amiss. There was neither the biting chill of the Yinfeng Sea nor the warmth and humidity of the Rainbow Sea. The sea breeze here is nothing special. The seawater here is the most ordinary azure blue. The sky was just the most ordinary sky blue. Everything was so ordinary, it was unsettling. I have a feeling something's not right. Zhou Ling touched her arm and muttered to herself. It's too quiet. Wen Sa leaned against the ship's railing, her eyes scanning the surrounding sea with wariness. It was as quiet as a graveyard. Even Longbao, who loves excitement the most, quietly huddled in Ing Yao's arms, making uneasy whimpering sounds. Sister Zhixia, initiate the highest level of environmental scanning, Jiang Yi commanded. Clear. Lin Zhixia's slender fingers moved rapidly across the virtual control panel. Invisible ripples spread outwards from the Great Wall at sea, in all directions. Soon, a detailed 3D nautical chart was built up on the main screen. Captain, vital signs are stable in the area, and no monsters with high-energy reactions have been detected. There are 3 small vessels in the nearby waters, all classified as Class 3 or below, which pose no threat to us. The scan detected a large island 30 nautical miles directly ahead, with extremely strong life signals. Lin Zhixia zoomed in on the image of the island. It was a lush island, several sizes larger than the previous Rainbow Island, and covered entirely in dense greenery. That should be it, Jiang Yi said, looking at the screen. To cultivate the crops in the intermediate ecological park, special, living soil is required. And this kind of soil most likely exists in places where life is exceptionally abundant. During the past few days of sailing, Xiang Wanqing practically moved all her bedding to the ecological park. Under her plant affinity talent, the potato and tomato seeds she obtained from the seed exchange card have already sprouted tender green seedlings. Every day, Xiang Wanqing would squat in front of the seedlings and speak to them softly, like an old mother. Little tomato, grow up quickly, grow big and red. The class monitor loves to eat scrambled eggs with tomatoes the most. Little potato, you have to work hard. Our future French fry business will all depend on you. The girl is quiet and reserved, but she devotes 100% of her enthusiasm to the things she loves. Jiang Yi saw this and made up his mind to help her get her hands on the soil of life. Full speed ahead, target, that island. Yes. The Pangu accelerated again, like an arrow released from a bow, speeding towards the distant island. As they drew closer, a refreshing fragrance of herbs and plants drifted over on the sea breeze. Just smelling this aroma is enough to invigorate you. Such a comforting smell. I feel all the fatigue in my body has disappeared. The girls exclaimed in amazement. Jiang Yi also felt that his tense spirit, which had been constantly on guard, had relaxed a lot. His overlord body, constitution allows him to perceive his environment far more acutely than that of ordinary people. After accumulating these past few days, his physique has now reached 50 points, equivalent to the strength of 5 adults. In other words, even without using any of his abilities, he can now rival Zhou Ling's superhuman strength talent simply by relying on his own abilities. Moreover, one's physical condition is improved in all aspects, while a strong man only improves his strength. He can now clearly smell that the fragrance contains a terrifyingly powerful life energy. It's definitely a great product. However, just when the Pangol was only 5 nautical miles away from the island. Beep, beep, beep. The alarm shattered the silence in the driver's cab in an instant. Lin Zhixia's expression changed. Jiang Yi, something's not right. All of our life detection equipment on board has failed. On the main screen, the once clear image of the island turned into a chaotic jumble of static. All the data was transformed into a series of... What happened? It seems there's an unknown energy field interfering with our scan. Just then, Jiang Yi also activated Weakness Insight and looked towards the island. However, the information that appeared in his field of vision this time made his heart skip a beat. Target, Dream Garden. Status, sleeping. Weakness, none. Note, a great being is slumbering peacefully. Please do not disturb the elegant lady's sweet dreams. Dream Garden? A great being? A lady's sweet dream? What are you sending all of this for? This is probably no longer just a simple island. It looks more like a monster's lair. Jiang Yi immediately realized that they might have encountered an existence beyond their current understanding. All combat personnel, on high alert. Prepare the crossbow positions. Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Ing Yao, Su Tao, come to the bow of the boat. Jiang Yi's order was calm and swift. Although the girls were nervous, their long-term training enabled them to get to work immediately. The fully armed combat squad quickly assembled at the bow of the ship, and the dark crossbow bolts were all aimed at the island ahead. The boat slowly came to a stop about 1 nautical mile from the island. The sea was deathly still. Apart from the sounds of the wind and the waves, there was nothing else. The oppressive atmosphere made everyone hold their breath. In this deathly silence, suddenly, a clear, melodious female voice, seemingly not of this world, suddenly resounded deep within everyone's minds without warning. The sound didn't pass through their ears or through the air. It resonated directly with their spirits. With a hint of languor, a hint of authority, and a hint of obvious displeasure at being disturbed from her peaceful slumber. Outsiders, thank you for entering my dream. Chapter 53, The Sleeping Flower Goddess. The sound was like a thunderclap, exploding in everyone's minds. Oh. Several timid girls were so frightened that they took a few steps back. Who's speaking? Is it a ghost? This island can talk. Even core combatants like Zhou Ling and Wen Sa tensed up instantly, their faces turning pale. This sound, which resounds directly in your mind, is more eerie and terrifying than a roaring monster. Quiet. Jiang Yi gave a low shout. He looked around, his sharp gaze causing all the restless girls to instinctively shut their mouths. What's the panic? So what if it can talk? Maybe it's some kind of giant parrot that has come to life. He temporarily stabilized morale with a clumsy joke. But Jiang Yi himself felt a chill run down his spine. That voice just now contained an irresistible mental pressure, which made him feel palpitations even with his mental strength of 130 points. This is definitely not an elite monster. Sister Zhixia, is it still possible to contact the outside world? Jiang Yi asked in a low voice through the internal communicator. Yes, the world channel and trading market are both working normally. It seems their interference is only targeting our ship. Lin Zhixia's voice also carried a hint of seriousness. This shows that the other party was targeting them. Or rather, they came for these intruders. Jiang Yi took a deep breath and looked up at the silent island. Run? The speed of the Pangu is relatively fast, but can it outrun the methods of this unknown entity? Moreover, the soil of life is located on this island, which is a crucial step in upgrading the ecological park to achieve food self-sufficiency. Most importantly, it seems we can't get out now. Damn it, fortune favors the bold. A resolute glint flashed in Jiang Ye's eyes. Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Ying Yao, the three of you come with me to the island to check out the situation. The rest of you will stay on the ship and be under the unified command of Zhixia. Squad leader. No, it's too dangerous. The girls all expressed their opposition. It's all right, we'll be careful. Jiang Yi deliberately kept his tone calm. Soon, a landing raft was lowered into the ground. Jiang Yi, Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, and Ying Yao, covered by a giant bubble exhaled by Su Tao, silently drifted towards the island. The bubbles refracted a rainbow of colors in the sunlight, blurring their features and shapes. The four of them shivered the moment they stepped onto the island. The ground beneath my feet was warm and soft, as if I were stepping on the skin of a living creature. The immense life energy in the air was so dense that it almost became tangible. With each breath, I felt countless warm currents flowing into my limbs and bones. The entire island is like a giant living organism. There were no roads on the island, but the four of them walked on without any difficulty. The vines blocking the way will automatically part, and the drooping branches will lift up on their own, as if welcoming or guiding. Guided by the most concentrated life energy, they arrived at the very center of the island. The scene before them left the four completely stunned. There is no land here, but a vast lake made of crystal. The lake water is crystal clear, radiating a soft, life-giving glow. In the center of the lake, a gigantic flower blooms, a flower whose beauty defies description. The flower was made of pure light and energy, with layers upon layers of petals, each one like a perfect work of art. At the very center of the flower, atop the stamen, a figure lay quietly. It was a woman of unparalleled beauty, so beautiful she seems otherworldly. A cascade of emerald green hair cascaded freely over the petals formed by light. Her skin was as white as snow, and her features were so exquisite that they resembled the most perfect creation of the gods. Her eyes were closed, her expression elegant and gentle, as if she were simply asleep. She lay there quietly, wearing a long dress woven from vines and flowers, blending into the life force of the entire island. A boundless, ocean-like vitality emanated from her body. She is this island. Is this island hers? Ding. Strength +1. Ding. Recovery ability +1. The moment the notification sound rang, Lin Hui's fist, which had been in excruciating pain, immediately stopped hurting so much. A surge of power instantly appeared within him, helping him recover his strength. On the other hand, Lu Mongshan was in so much pain that he was grimacing and his eyebrows were twisted into knots. That punch just now hurt so much it felt like his bones were going to break. It was like hitting a steel plate. Damn, it's so hard. Lin Hui clenched his fist. Same here, but besides my fists, I'm tougher in other places. Wanna try? Lu Mongshan was stunned for a moment, then instantly flew into a rage. Damn it. You actually flirted with me. He rushed up and threw another punch. Although Lin Hui had never trained in combat, but he has a learning system, and after just one round, he has already learned the opponent's fighting techniques. Furthermore, they had complete control over the opponent's steps, posture, and movements. Seeing the fist hurtling towards him, Lin Hui seemed to have triggered a mechanism in his body, and subconsciously took a step to the left. Using the momentum of his body swing, he delivered a hook punch directly to his armpit. Oh ho ho ho! Lu Mongshan opened his mouth and let out a scream like that of a eunuch. Those around him frowned. He looks quite manly, but his moans are so seductive. The next second, Lin Hui threw another punch, hitting Lu Mongshan directly in the waist. His mouth, which had been opened recklessly, snapped shut instantly, tears streaming down his face from the pain. Damn it. You fucking want to make me childless? Lin Hui chuckled. This is the real way to cut off one's lineage. He swung his leg and kicked Lu Mongshan in the groin. Holy shit, holy shit. Lu Mongshan was so scared he almost peed his pants, and in a panic he quickly used his hands to block. If I get kicked this time, I might really have to go to the palace in my next life. But Lin Hui stopped abruptly halfway through his kick, and Lu Mongshan immediately realized. This was a feint. Just as he was about to look up, Lin Hui's head came crashing down on him. The two heads collided heavily. Duong. Lu Mongshan was instantly disoriented. He stumbled backward several steps, as if he were drunk. Then, with a thud, he fell heavily backward, and the ground trembled again. Ding. Recovery ability +1. Ding. Strength +1. Even so, Lin Hui still clutched his head, wincing in pain. Damn it. That's too hard. Is this kid's head made of iron? Silence fell over the surroundings, and everyone stared in shock, their mouths agape. Wang Yishue's chin hit the ground. She was stunned. She finally managed to pick the most capable fighter after a lot of searching. I never expected this guy to be all show and no substance, all looks and no substance. Wang Yishue looked at Lin Hui, her eyes filled with surprise. When did this guy become so good at fighting? So that's what he meant by harder. The thought of him threatening to spank her last time sent chills down Wang Yishue's spine. If things really get serious, won't things turn out badly? Wang Yishue stomped her feet in anger. Why can't I ever beat him? When will I ever beat him? Seeing that Wang Yishue didn't speak, the other referee quickly stepped forward and announced the result. 1 minute and 20 seconds, Lin Hui wins. We won. Four veterans rushed up excitedly and surrounded Lin Hui. Damn it. You said you didn't know how to fight and asked us to teach you, but you're clearly a very good fighter. Lin Hui chuckled. I learned this on the spot. Believe your grandma's legs. An old soldier said irritably. You can keep it hidden all you want. Oh, and by the way, hand over your monkey stealing Peach's story to me later. Lin Hui laughed heartily. Easy, easy. I have plenty of these underhanded. These killer moves. Everyone was so frightened that they tightened their anuses and covered them with their hands. To be so ruthless to one's comrades, that's inhuman. The next game will start soon. Wang Yishue then chose another opponent who looked quite strong. They had high hopes that he would give Lin Hui a good beating. Unexpectedly, he didn't even last a minute after going up there. He was sent flying into the air by Lin Hui's hook punch and lost consciousness on the spot after landing. He was immediately carried away by the medic. Wang Yixue was trembling with anger. How come this guy is even stronger than the blonde guy in the game who shouts Haoyo? He's too good at fighting. Little did she know Lin Hui's fighting skills. I learned it all on the spot. He dodged while quickly memorizing his opponent's moves. Then, the system will copy the same trick onto him. In addition to Lin Hui's already extraordinary physical abilities, his strength and fighting skills were further enhanced. If we could beat him, that would be a miracle. Lin Hui looked at her with a smile. Referee, could you please find someone who can actually fight? At least let me take a punch. It's not difficult at all. It's making me sleepy. Seeing Lin Hui's smug look, everyone was itching to punch him. I've seen arrogance before, but I've never seen anyone this arrogant. For veterans standing nearby boasted smugly. His name is Lin Hui. He's from our company. Isn't he amazing? We're just as good as him, so you better watch out. Everyone around them glared angrily at them. Damn it, one act of showing off is fine. For more. What's wrong with this company? Are all the people they sent to participate really this shameless? What's there to be so smug about? You only won one game. Do you really think my reconnaissance company is weak? Don't anyone stop me. I'm going to go up there and kill him. Lin Hui shook his head smugly. Sigh. With great power comes great hatred. How come I'm so awesome? Wang Yixue clenched her fists in anger and gritted her teeth. The more she saw Lin Hui's smug look, the angrier she became. No, we absolutely can't let this guy steal the spotlight. We have to find someone right away and beat him to a pulp. Wang Yixue immediately shouted, Who wants to go up? Anyone want to teach him a lesson? As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd, which had been so agitated, immediately fell silent. They either turned their heads away, looked down at their fingers, or looked up at the sky. Hey, the weather's nice today. It's really nice, a beautiful, clear blue. Wang Yixue was so angry, she almost vomited blood. Damn it, you guys were shouting so loudly just now, but when it really matters, not a single one of you is of any use. Chapter 48, I've never even touched a gun. What's the point of fighting? When no one answered, Lin Hui simply shouted. Hello. Everyone was startled and quickly lowered their heads. Lin Hui asked impatiently, Is anyone coming up or not? Don't waste time. The others still have their competitions to attend. His gaze swept over them, and several people in succession frantically waved their hands. I have a stomachache. I've started my period. No, I'll leave the opportunity to someone else. Are you kidding me? Those two were the strongest fighters. Lin Hui beat him up so badly, he still hasn't woken up. Who would dare to go up there and cause trouble? Although everyone was an elite soldier from their respective units, they were all highly competitive. But everyone knows in their hearts that going against him is not just a matter of courting death. It could also lead to complete failure. Lin Hui looked around and saw that no one was willing to come up. He smiled at Wang Yixue and said, No one's coming, referee. Why don't you pick someone from another team to play against me? Pick someone strong, not someone too weak. Seeing Lin Hui's arrogant demeanor, Wang Yixue gritted her teeth. I immediately thought of how he bullied me when I was a child. Damn it, if it weren't for the rules in the military, Wang Yixue would have gone ahead and done it herself. The referee, noticing that Wang Yixue seemed a bit off, coughed and said, All right. Rules are rules. Since no one dares to challenge you, it means you've won all 3 matches and advanced directly. Oh. For veterans immediately rushed over, lifted Lin Hui high, and shouted excitedly. Our company is number 1. The 5th Artillery Company is number 1. Lin Hui turned around and shouted smugly at Wang Yixue. We're number 1. Number 1. Wang Yixue clenched her teeth in anger. If it were someone else who got such good results, she would definitely applaud and congratulate them. But Lin Hui is no good. Let me applaud you in your next life. The referee next to her hesitated for a moment, then coughed to remind her. Shouldn't we continue the assessment? What do you think? Wang Yixue glared at him fiercely. There's no one left on stage. Aren't we going to assess the performance? Are we just going to sit here and watch the show? Continue the competition. The referee was startled. Why are you getting angry at me? I didn't do anything to you. The match is still ongoing. Each team competed fiercely, showcasing their best skills. Some of those present were themselves skilled fighters in the regiment, and had even won awards in the division. Some are Sanda, Chinese kickboxing, masters, while others specialize in grappling and ambush techniques. Some were martial arts masters before joining the army. Excited cheers echoed from various circles. The match ended an hour later. More than 30 people made it through the competition to the finals. The final competition was arranged directly below the viewing platform. The rules remained the same, and the two sides fought back and forth fiercely. But when it came to Lin Hui, it became one-sided. Neither of their first two opponents could last a minute. No matter how glorious they were in the qualifiers, once they get here, they can only passively take a beating. Lin Hui copied whatever tricks they used. Lin Hui has a system. If he can win, he fights. If he can't, he learns. If he encounters someone strong, he will dodge and wear them down. Then, Lin Hui will use his strength and speed to kill them with one punch. At that moment, he suddenly felt that he was Kakashi the copy ninja. No matter how strong the opponent is, he can perfectly copy their moves and counterattack. On the stage, the division commander nodded in satisfaction and said to the person next to him, "After watching for so long, this kid named Lin Hui fought the best. His movements were clean and neat, hitting the vital points directly. Most importantly, this kid knows how to go easy on his opponent, truly embodying the spirit of friendship first, competition second." Not bad at all. Gao Shan grinned from ear to ear. This kid has really made me proud. The other regimental commanders were so jealous their eyes turned as red as rabbits. That's way too much of a show-off. Could that kid be an outside helper that Takasugi hired? I've never heard of such a person in the division. Gao Shan chuckled and said, "Commander, you flatter me too much. I think Lin Hui still needs some polishing. It's not a good thing for a young person to be too arrogant." The division commander laughed and waved his hand, saying, "You're right. However, our division needs young people like Lin Hui right now. He's competitive and dares to fight. That's how we strive for improvement and inspire more people to follow in his footsteps. Only in this way can our division become stronger and stronger." Takasugi nodded. "You're right." The division commander remarked with emotion, "Our generation is getting old. We've all come a long way through hardship. But what about this generation? Although their living conditions are different from ours, the future belongs to them. If we can cultivate talents like Lin Hui, do we still need to worry about our future?" "Takasugi, this soldier must be trained properly." "Yes." Takasugi thought to himself, "Even if you don't say it, I will still train him well when we get back. He will be our group's precious treasure in the future." The fighting match ended quickly. As expected, Lin Hui came in first place again. The last contestant was sent to sleep by his punch. No matter how the people around him called him, they couldn't wake him up. The colonel looked at the three guys who had been knocked unconscious by Lin Hui on the ground, his lips twitching violently. "What are you all standing there for? Quickly get them to the infirmary and wake them up." "Yes, yes, yes." Watching the three guys being hurriedly carried away, Lin Hui shook his head helplessly. Why are soldiers these days so physically weak? They can't even withstand a single punch. How can we defend our country like this? It's unbelievable. Wang Yishue stared intently at Lin Hui, gritting her teeth. She was furious at the sight of him being so smug. The colonel looked at Lin Hui, then at the furious Wang Yishue, a thoughtful expression on his face. He had already figured it out during the assessment. These two people probably knew each other before, and were quite close at that. However, he was really confused. Why does Wang Yishue always look at Lin Hui with such anger, as if he were her father's killer? A series of whistles sounded. Everyone gathered again. But this time, many people had bruises on their faces, with black eyes and swollen cheeks. Lin Hui glanced at it, then proudly raised his head. "Luckily, I'm more skilled and didn't get disfigured. Otherwise, how would I ever find a wife?" The colonel stepped forward and said sternly, "Prepare for the next assessment immediately." Shooting. Excitement immediately shone in everyone's eyes. Finally, it's time to shoot. Damn it. I've been holding back for so long. Now I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Some people stared intently at Lin Hui. We've let this kid be arrogant for too long. Let's see how arrogant he is this time. The colonel said solemnly, "A gun is a soldier's second life. The shooting test is to see if we can make good use of our second life on the battlefield. Whoever can shoot accurately and well is, in my heart, a good soldier. You have 3 minutes to prepare. Everyone immediately began preparations. The colonel then ordered ammunition to be prepared. For veterans came to Lin Hui's side and saw him squinting and raising his hand, as if he were practicing aiming. I walked right over and patted him on the shoulder. Hey. Lin Hui was startled. Holy crap, you guys look like ghosts. An old soldier asked with a smile, what are you up to now? Lin Hui chuckled and said, let's familiarize ourselves with how to shoot. The 4 men stared at each other, wide-eyed. You're not going to say you've never fired a gun before, are you? How is that possible? Lin Hui said in a very serious tone. The 4 of them immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Hui said with a grin, we fought once back in recruit training. All 4 of them were startled. What the hell? You've been in the army for so long and only fired a gun once. You must be kidding me. Lin Hui gave an awkward smile. You all know that after I joined the company, I went to raise pigs, and then I went to the island. Where would I find the right conditions? There are guns on the island, but there are only a few bullets, not enough for practice. Perfect timing. You guys can teach me some shooting tips so I can cram a bit. The 4 men's lips twitched violently. You son of a bitch, are you addicted to cramming for the last minute? An old soldier glared at him. Teach my ass. You've barely even touched a gun. What are you going to do about shooting? Chapter 49. This can't be called a sharpshooter. He has to be called a gun god. With a whistle, everyone gathered again. The colonel, hands behind his back, asked sternly, is everyone ready? Ready. Everyone roared excitedly. Guns are a man's romance. The joy of the moment a bullet leaves the barrel is beyond imagination. Many people even join the army just to learn how to shoot. Seeing the high morale, the colonel nodded. Everyone, about, face. Forward march, target range. Everyone turned around and marched toward the firing range in perfect unison. Lin Hui looked towards the firing range from afar. 20 target positions have been set up at the firing range. Before their arrival, the comrades from the ordnance department had already delivered all the boxes of ammunition. Furthermore, the guns and ammunition were placed separately on the firing table. Turn right. With a loud shout, everyone turned around at once. The colonel announced loudly, next, the shooting test. 20 people will be divided into groups. Each person will receive 30 bullets. The shooting distance will be 200 meters, and the shooting method will be prone shooting. One thing to remind you, the targets for this shooting exercise are moving targets. The targets will appear for 10 seconds at a time, and then reappear after a 5-second interval. You have 1 minute to aim and fire. Yes. The crowd responded loudly, their eyes filled with excitement. The difficulty has increased, great. Originally, they were worried that it was too simple and wouldn't be able to differentiate themselves from others. Many people stared at Lin Hui, their eyes filled with fighting spirit. A good marksman is made by being fed bullets. This time I will prove who is the #1 marksman in our division. Lin Hui was already somewhat numb. These guys are really annoying. Why are they always staring at me? Why can't you be like me, a bit more shrewd, mature, and composed? They haven't even started playing yet, and they're already acting like they've won too much. The colonel roared, first group, step forward. The first group of soldiers shouted, forward. 20 men marched in unison to the firing platform, and the instructor beside them shouted, ready for prone shooting. Everyone grabbed their guns, quickly lay down, and spread their legs wide. He quickly loaded the magazine, pulled the bolt, and aimed the gun at the target 200 meters away. Begin firing. Bang, bang, bang. Gunfire erupted. The entire firing range was filled with the sound of firecrackers going off nonstop, just like during Chinese New Year. In the ranks behind, for veterans whispered to Lin Hui, Lin Hui, did you remember all the shooting techniques we just told you? I remember it perfectly. Lin Hui chuckled confidently. The veterans asked skeptically, really? We just said so much, and you remembered it all? Lin Hui said seriously, absolutely. My teachers have always praised me for my good memory since I was little. Don't worry, I guarantee there won't be any problems when we start fighting. All 4 veterans rolled their eyes. They talk a good game, but sing a bad game. Although Lin Hui just made a big splash in combat, it doesn't mean he can do the same with guns. because these are two completely different things. In combat, if you are strong and agile, you may be able to win even if you haven't learned any moves. But sharpshooters are made by being fed bullets. Lin Hui has been in the army for half a year, but has only handled a gun once, and has fired no more than 30 bullets in total. Now, let alone shooting, it's questionable whether he even knows how to handle a gun. The four men exchanged glances, silently praying. Hopefully, this kid won't lose too badly later. Soon, the first group finished, and the second group followed. After the second group finished, the third group immediately started playing. Third group, step forward. Lin Hui immediately stepped forward and ran towards the shooting platform. Seeing Wang Yixue staring at him from a distance, he immediately made a face. Wang Yixue clenched her fists in anger. That bastard, showing off again. But she remembered that after Lin Hui was assigned to the company, he was directly sent to the breeding base. There was absolutely no chance of touching a gun there. She was well aware of the situation on the island. Even if he had a gun, there was no environment for him to practice shooting. Wang Yixue sneered. You haven't even had a chance to touch a gun yet. Let's see how you fight later. Actually, she was competing with Lin Hui not because she wanted him to become worse, but because she couldn't stand Lin Hui's smugness in front of her after winning. As long as Lin Hui loses one game, he can turn the tide. Fire. With a command given, intense gunfire erupted across the firing range. Bang bang bang. Lin Hui also aimed at the bullseye and pulled the trigger. Ding. Shooting ability +1. Ding. Vision +1. Ding. Stability +1. Lin Hui played better and better, and enjoyed the game more and more. Previously on the island, he practiced aiming with a dry gun and never had the opportunity to fire live ammunition. This time, as several bullets shot out of the barrel, he instantly felt a tingling sensation all over his body, as if he were about to become one with the gun. Just like this gun is part of the body. 200 meters away, the target, which was shrouded in a hazy light, suddenly became clear. Lin Hui was secretly delighted. Having a system is awesome. It feels like having a cheat code. I'm so happy I could fly. He was incredibly excited and kept pulling the trigger. The moment all the bullets were fired felt like the exhilarating battle that had taken place. After the shooting ended, everyone emptied their guns. Eject the magazine and get up quickly. Fourth group, get ready. As the fourth group stepped forward, the instructors instructed the other side to arrange target reporting. At this moment, a group of soldiers in the distance quickly changed the target paper and rapidly recorded the shooting scores. A moment later, the instructor's walkie-talkie crackled to life. Target number 1, 260 rings. Target number 2, 252 rings. Target number 10, 300 rings. Wait, what did you say? The instructor's hand trembled slightly as he pressed for an answer, shocked. The target reporter paused for a moment, then exclaimed, Target number 10, 300 rings. Everyone was shocked. You're not kidding. Are you sure it's 300 rings? The target operator nodded solemnly. Absolutely certain. And all 30 bullets hit the same hole. Just as everyone was too shocked to speak, Wang Yixue rushed over and asked, a vague feeling that something was wrong. Who is target number 10? The person next to him took out a roster. It's from the M Regiment, the 5th Artillery Company. His name is Lin Hui. Wang Yixue was completely stunned, as if she had been hit on the head with a hammer. Lin Hui? How could he possibly score 300 points? He's hardly ever handled a gun, so he shouldn't be shooting so well. Wrong. Wang Yixue suddenly realized. This bastard, could it be that his father forced him to shoot guns since he was a child? To achieve this kind of result, you'd have to start training from birth, with a pacifier in your mouth. Lin Hui grew up in the same compound as me. How could he not have access to things that others couldn't? Moreover, Uncle Lin is such a strict person. Wang Yixue was completely dumbfounded. It's over. With this result, it would be an injustice if she didn't get first place. Who knows how he'll start showing off in front of me in the future. Meanwhile, the colonel next to him was both surprised and delighted when he saw the score. How many years? How many years has it been since I've seen such an outstanding marksman? 30 bullets in one hole. This can't be called a marksman. This must be called a gun god. Chapter 50. Under the spotlight, breaking all records of the entire division. The shooting assessment ended quickly. The whistle blew, and everyone gathered again. Seeing the dejected looks of those around him, Lin Hui held his head high, his spirits high. It feels so good to be in the spotlight. If I had known, I should have used cheat codes when I first joined the army. Why? Many people in the line were sighing and complaining. He was a completely different person from when he first arrived, full of high spirits and arrogant. It's not that they're emotionally fragile, it's simply because Lin Hui is too strong. He ranked first in every assessment from beginning to end. Each one broke a world record. That's so exciting. The colonel clapped his hands loudly and shouted sternly, "What are you doing? You all look so dejected, like you've lost a battle. Cheer up, stand tall, and hold your heads high." I know what you're thinking. You feel there's no hope, right? No one said a word. But that's really what they think. The final assessment is coming up soon. Even if Lin Hui doesn't participate, his total score from the previous assessments will still put him in first place. Given the current situation, what's the point of them competing? They might as well go home. The colonel said sternly, "Soldiers should possess a tenacious will and an indomitable spirit. If war comes, will you lose your fighting spirit and refuse to fight the enemy because of this trivial matter?" Back then, our predecessors, with such rudimentary equipment, dared to fight against the enemy's planes and artillery with their own flesh and blood. And you've lost confidence over such a small setback? Everyone looked ashamed. As soldiers, they really shouldn't have done that. Even knowing they are no match, they still have the courage to draw their swords. This is the indomitable will of the Yin soldiers. Seeing everyone regain their spirits, the colonel nodded in satisfaction. For the final test, I hope all of you will give it your all. Never give up until the very last moment. Perseverance and fighting tenaciously are beliefs that every soldier should uphold. Yes. Everyone roared in anger, watching their confidence return to its peak. A smile immediately appeared on Lin Hui's lips. Unbreakable and invincible, this is what soldiers should be like. In fact, even he himself didn't realize it. Now, he has completely integrated into the military family and has come to love this place from the bottom of his heart. The colonel pointed in a direction and shouted, 100-kilometer shuttle run. I'll be waiting for you right here. The first one back wins. This last test is also the most difficult. It's a test of your physical strength, willpower, and endurance. I hope that each and every one of you can withstand the test and complete the assessment. Set off. Everyone ran out instantly. As Lin Hui ran out, he shouted to the 4 soldiers beside him, "Grab my bag. I'll take you with me." The 4 knew that Lin Hui's physical abilities far surpassed theirs. After going through this test, they not only cleared up their misunderstandings about him, but also greatly admired his abilities. The military reveres the strong. At this moment, Lin Hui was the object of their admiration. This time, the 4 of them didn't hesitate at all and grabbed Lin Hui's backpack. "Thanks." Lin Hui laughed and said, "We're all from the same company. No need to be so polite. We run together, we win together." "Yes, we run together, we win together." The 4 nodded emphatically, and Lin Hui rushed out right after them. Because of their previous experience, the group controlled the pace very well this time. Before long, they overtook the other teams and took the lead. Those behind them, seeing Lin Hui and his group united as one, were instantly filled with patriotic fervor. "I'm fast, you guys hold me, save your energy." One soldier shouted, and several soldiers from the same company immediately surrounded him. They all followed Lin Hui and the others' example and ran forward. Soon, more and more people followed suit. The men in the same company all gathered together, united as one, and worked hard to catch up. Even if towering mountains and vast oceans block their way, they will still charge forward. The colonel watched from afar, his eyes full of admiration. That's more like what soldiers should be like. Wang Yishue was also cheering on every soldier at this moment, except for Lin Hui, of course. She just couldn't stand the way this guy acted all smug after winning the game. I hope you get lost and run into a bear or a big bad wolf. Time passed second by second. The equipment at the testing site has been mostly packed away. Firearms, ammunition, and all kinds of testing equipment were removed. The venue gradually returned to its original state. On the viewing platform, the teacher said to the people around him, "This year's competition is exceptionally exciting compared to previous years. Especially that kid named Lin Hui. He really impressed me. He can bring us miracles every time. A brigade commander next to him nodded. In previous assessments, even those who performed outstandingly only excelled in one area. I've never seen anyone like that soldier who got first place in every single one. Takasugi was grinning from ear to ear. What an honor. What an honor. He's made up his mind. When he gets back, he'll treat this kid like royalty. I've never felt so triumphant in my life. Seeing his smug look, the other regimental commanders turned green with envy. The brigade commander seemed to be praising Lin Hui, but he was actually targeting them. In previous assessments, the 2nd Regiment produced a sharpshooter, but his running was poor. The 3rd Regiment, on the other hand, had someone who was good at running, but his tactical movements were not standard. In short, when God opens a door for you, he will always close a window. I've never seen anyone like Lin Hui, who's practically fed by God. It's a once-in-a-century occurrence. The division commander looked at Gao Shan and praised him. Gao Shan, your troop leading skills are getting better and better. This time you've really given me a big surprise. Gao Shan chuckled and said, Commander, you flatter me. Lin Hui's performance was actually just average. It was mainly the other comrades who made him stand out. The other regimental commanders were so angry their eyes were spitting fire, and their fists were clenched so tightly they were cracking. That son of a bitch. Not only did they benefit from it, they also had to kick them while they were down. A regimental commander gritted his teeth and muttered, Damn it. I really want to put him in a sack and beat him up. He's so damn deserving of a beating. Another group leader said, I'll provide the sacks. Remember to kick them a couple of times for me. The guild leader, just now. Soon, the sun will set. The division commander suddenly asked, I wonder what this kid will do in the last event, since he got first place in all the other events. Coming, someone's back. Suddenly, someone shouted from the viewing platform. Everyone stood up instantly, and the division commander immediately picked up his binoculars. A few people were seen stumbling back from a distance. Before the division commander could even see him clearly, someone next to him shouted, It's him. It's him. It's that kid Lin Hui. Gao Shan was stunned for a moment, then grinned from ear to ear. As expected. How could I not know the soldiers I trained? He's the undisputed number one. I know that all too well. The other regimental commanders were practically grinding their back teeth to powder. I wish I could just throw him off the viewing platform. The division commander sighed deeply. He also came in first place in the last game. After so many games, he's been first in every single one. This is unprecedented in the history of our division. With his speed, he must have broken the record again, right? The brigade commander next to him nodded. This speed is indeed a record-breaking achievement. Although the division has never conducted a 100-kilometer forced march, but 50-kilometer stretches are common. Judging from Lin Hui's current performance, he has indeed broken the record. Using two 50-kilometer distances as an example, no one has ever been able to run back in such a short time. Gao Shan chuckled. Commander, see? I told you Lin Hui was a good soldier. He was first again, and he even broke the record. The division commander laughed heartily. He breaks records in every single one of his achievements. This is no longer just a good soldier. He should be called a king of soldiers. Yes, a king of soldiers. Takasugi quickly nodded. I was a top soldier back then, so the soldiers I trained naturally are too. The other regimental commanders clenched their fists so tightly they cracked, their eyes blazing with fury. Damn it, we really can't stand it anymore. We won't be able to sleep until we beat this guy up. The instructor looked at Gao Shan. Gao, after the assessment, take a short rest and then bring him to me. I really want to reward him personally. Yes. Takasugi's face lit up with a smile. Chapter 51. Lin's father was excited. This son of a bitch has done something good again? As the sun set, figures quickly appeared. Everyone gradually returned. To the examiner's relief, however, they did not return alone as they had in the past. Instead, they walked back in groups of 3 or 5, supporting each other. Ding. Recovery ability +1. Ding. Stamina +1. On the grass, Lin Hui felt a surge of energy within him, and his fatigue was immediately relieved. Seeing him stand up, the 4 veterans who were slumped on the ground hurriedly asked, Aren't you going to rest for a while? Lin Hui chuckled. I've rested enough. I'm going to stretch a bit. The four veterans nearly vomited blood. You just finished running 100 kilometers. Aren't you tired yet? You actually want to stretch a bit? Monster, he's a monster. The colonel watched as Lin Hui stood up and took a walk, stretching his muscles as if nothing had happened. My eyes nearly popped out of my head in shock. What kind of physique is this? He just ran 100 kilometers and is already well enough to rest. The instructors next to him all turned their attention to Lin Hui. This soldier is really good. Not only is he exceptionally capable, but his character is also impeccable. He inspired everyone present with his actions. One instructor nodded. Yes. In the past, during competitions, everyone treated each other as opponents, even those from their own company. In order to win rankings and honors, they completely forgot the meaning of the word comrade in arms. It was this soldier who made everyone reevaluate the meaning of being a soldier. At this moment, Wang Yixue felt extremely uncomfortable. It's not that she doesn't want to see Lin Hui get better. This guy's improvement is so dramatic, it's like he's on a rocket. Looking back, who knows how smug they'll be to themselves. Thinking of the bet she made with Lin Hui on the island, Wang Yixue's face instantly turned red. That bastard is capable of anything, and now that he's achieved something, he'll definitely. Wang Yixue was terrified, her face turning pale. No, we absolutely can't stay here, or he'll definitely come and spank us. Thinking of this, she turned and left without daring to linger. Xiaowang. Wang Yixue was stunned for a moment. The colonel called out from behind. The awards ceremony is about to start. Where are you going? Wang Yixue immediately panicked even more. She wouldn't do it if asked to present the award to Lin Hui. Wang Yixue quickened her pace, taking small, quick steps, and fled as fast as she could. The colonel looked puzzled. Why are you in such a panic? Why did you run away? You should at least wait until it's over before leaving. I really don't understand these young people nowadays. The martial arts competition has come to a successful conclusion. Everyone gathered on the playground. Holding the roster, the colonel announced loudly. In this year's Border Defense Division Skills Competition, the first place goes to Comrade Lin Hui from the 5th Artillery Company of the M Regiment. In the overall assessment, he not only ranked first, but any single item he took broke all previous records. Everyone, let's give them a round of applause. Clap, clap, clap. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Everyone stared intently at Lin Hui, their eyes filled with admiration. Congratulations. Lin Hui, if I have the chance, I will challenge you again. Come visit our 3rd regiment sometime. We're here. Lin Hui was overjoyed, feeling like he was surrounded by admirers. He had won a championship without even realizing it, and now he was left with nothing but pride. The colonel continued, as soldiers, we must strive for excellence and forge ahead. Lin Hui's outstanding abilities are evident to all. Today he has set a good example for everyone, making you realize the power of unity. If it were a 100-kilometer forced march, I believe that half of the people here would not be able to complete it if they were doing it alone. Therefore, I hope that in the future, you can take Lin Hui as your role model and learn from his strengths and advantages. Only in this way can you surpass him. Can you do it? Able. Everyone shouted confidently. The sound shattered the heavens. The colonel nodded in satisfaction and gave Lin Hui an appreciative smile. What a good soldier. At that moment, one familiar figure after another suddenly appeared in Lin Hui's mind. They were all veterans from Crescent Island. There was Lu Shan, Zhou Peng, and squad leader Wei Yongyan. Lin Hui's face lit up with a smile. Squad leader, veterans, I have not let you down. I have brought back first place in the competition. An hour later, in the office, Lin Hui saluted the division commander. Comrade Division Commander, Lin Hui from the 5th Artillery Company of the M Regiment is reporting for duty. The division commander smiled and waved his hand, then took out a second-class merit medal. Comrade Lin, you did a very good job this time. Lin Hui replied neither humbly nor arrogantly. Thank you for the compliment, sir. The division commander laughed heartily. I really didn't expect that a soldier who came from the breeding base and was transferred to guard the island could have such strong capabilities. You have truly impressed me today and given me a new understanding of the word soldiered. Lin Hui humbly replied, You flatter me, leader. I was just doing my duty as a soldier. Without the encouragement of the veterans on the island and the guidance of my squad leader, I'm afraid I'd still be a mess by now. Good. The division commander smiled and said, not arrogant or impatient, and very humble. This shows that your squad leader and those veterans really did not treat you badly for nothing. He walked behind his desk, then turned back to look at Lin Hui. Lin Hui, Crescent Island is no longer suitable for you. There are so many places in the whole division. Just tell me where you want to go. Takasugi quickly asked, our regiment's reconnaissance company is pretty good. Do you want to come? Xiao Gao, don't interrupt his thoughts. Let him make his own choice. The division commander waved his hand and looked at Lin Hui, saying, the division commander's reconnaissance battalion is actually quite good. I think it would suit you well. Takasugi almost rolled his eyes to the sky. Tell me not to disturb his thoughts, and you're trying to steal them? Lin Hui remained silent, his mind racing. Seeing that he remained silent, the division commander smiled slightly and said, all right, you don't need to feel any pressure, and you don't need to answer me so quickly. I know you are a soldier who values loyalty and affection, and you also have feelings for the island. However, with great power comes great responsibility. With your current skill level, sending you to guard an island would be a dereliction of duty on our part and a waste of talent. You'll stay at the division's guest house tonight. Think it over carefully and make sure you've thought it through. He glanced at Takasugi. Just tell me where you want to go. He won't dare stop you. Takasugi looked embarrassed. You've already spoken. How could I dare to stop you? Lin Hui nodded. Thank you, sir. The teacher patted him on the shoulder. You must think carefully about your future, and you must go to a place that is truly suitable for you. Yes, sir. Lin Hui saluted again, seemingly having already found the answer in his heart. Evening, military compound. Lin Guangyao took off his reading glasses and tossed the newspaper aside dismissively. They're all a bunch of robbers. What business is it of yours if something happens elsewhere? You still have to send troops over. They talk about freedom all day long, but all they do is petty theft. If you ever dare to come here, I'll beat you to a pulp. The study door opened, and Lin Rue walked in with a smile. Dad, what are you angry about now? Lin Guangyao said coldly. Isn't it all because of those Western bastards who keep shouting about justice? I think they are the most unjust ones. Lin Rue laughed and said, Dad, don't think too much about it. Someone else will take care of things outside. We just need to focus on leading the troops. Lin Guangyao nodded, looked at him, and asked, Why are you back again? Didn't you say we were going on a field training exercise soon? Lin Rue smiled and said, I received some good news and had to rush back to tell you. Can you guess what it's about? Stop talking nonsense and get to the point. Lin Guangyao glared at him, thinking, How dare you try to play tricks on me? Lin Rue chuckled and said, I got word that the third brother just won first place in the division-wide martial arts competition and even received a second-class merit. In a flash, Lin Guangyao stood up abruptly. What did you say? This son of a bitch has done something good again. Chapter 52 Get up where you fall. Lin Guangyao paced back and forth in the study with his hands behind his back. After a long while, his face was still full of disbelief. You mean him, the best in the entire division? Lin Rue nodded. Yes. Lin Guangyao asked again. And you also received a second-class merit award? Lin Rue smiled wryly. That's right. Dad, you've asked me 3 times already. Lin Guangyao shook his head, still feeling like he was dreaming. How long has it been? A few months ago, Lin Hui was sent to raise pigs for beating up a veteran, and later he himself sent him to Crescent Island to suffer. Unexpectedly, in just 2 or 3 months, he made meritorious contributions one after another, and even became the first in the entire division's martial arts competition. I wasn't as amazing as him when I was young. Could it be that this kid has finally figured it out? Lin Rue said helplessly, Dad, please stop wandering around there. You're making me dizzy. I told you before, Xiao Hui isn't that bad. He will definitely carry on your banner and be a good, upright soldier. Lin Guangyao stopped and sneered. What do you know? This kid has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He might just be putting up a smokescreen. Lin Rue was speechless. If it's really a smoke bomb, the cost is way too high. We won first place in the entire division and also received first-class and second-class merit awards. Lin Guangyao squinted and said, I've watched Lin Hui grow up since he was a child. I can tell what kind of shit he's going to do just by looking at him. So I suspect that his purpose in doing this is to lull us into a false sense of security, to make me trust him and lower my guard. When he was a kid, this kid told me he was going to the library to read books. I thought he had studied hard and even gave him 100 yuan. But he turned around and went to the arcade instead. Lin Rui's lips twitched. What kind of logic is this? You should only let him serve in the army for 2 years in total. He could have stayed on the island, lived a peaceful and uneventful life, and just waited to die. If it's really to lull you into a false sense of security, the more low-key you should be. Why bother trying to win awards in martial arts competitions? Besides, who hasn't lied to their parents to ask for pocket money when they were a kid? Who hasn't been to an arcade or an internet cafe? Besides, it was he who got Lin Hui to ask him to start the conversation, and he actually played games with Lin Hui as well. Of course, I wouldn't say this to the old man. Otherwise he would definitely pull out his belt. Lin Guangyao turned around and pointed at him. Keep having people keep an eye on him. I need to know everything about this kid's movements at all times. I can do it even if you don't tell me. After Lin Rui finished speaking, he turned around and left. Lin Guangyao plopped down on the sofa, deep in thought. What exactly is this kid planning this time? The second floor of the teacher's guest house. Wang Yishua tiptoed quietly to a window. Looking sideways, Lin Hui was sitting on the bed, staring blankly without moving. It looks like a mannequin. Wang Yishua frowned slightly. What's wrong with him? In her memory, Lin Hui had always been carefree and always laughing and joking. The last time I saw him like this was more than 10 years ago. At that time, Lin Hui's parents were arguing and talking about getting a divorce over trivial matters. Lin Hui ran out by himself and sat by the river for a long time. Same expression, same demeanor. But he just won first place in the whole division, broke so many records, and received a second-class merit. Shouldn't he be happy at this time? Wang Yishua shook her head. I really understand him less and less. Thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, footsteps came from the stairwell in the distance. Wang Yishua was stunned for a moment, then quickly hid in the other side of the corridor. She had just turned around and hidden herself when several people walked up the stairs. The leader was none other than the regimental commander, Takasuji. Knock, knock, knock. Lin Hui paused for a moment. The door isn't locked, come in. When Gao Shan pushed open the door and entered, he was followed by a smiling company commander, Li Hongfei, and the political instructor. Lin Hui quickly stood up and saluted. Greetings, regimental commander. Greetings, company commander. Greetings, political instructor. Li Hongfei grabbed him and said excitedly, Lin Hui, I really didn't expect this. You not only got first place in the whole division, but you also helped our company get first place. Lin Hui smiled and said, It was a coincidence, a coincidence. You couldn't get such good results by just luck. It proves you're really talented. Li Hongfei patted him on the shoulder and said somewhat embarrassedly, Lin Hui, I was wrong about what happened before. I shouldn't have judged people based on past events. I hope you won't blame me. You are an outstanding soldier. It turns out I was wrong. Lin Hui quickly shook his head. Company commander, you can't say that. I do bear responsibility for what happened before. If I were in that situation, I would have done the same. All right. Why bring up things from the past? Gao Shan laughed and walked up to Lin Hui. Lin Hui, you're a talent, and our group needs talent too. Stay here, and I'll give you the best treatment and the best resources as long as you stay. Lin Hui was stunned. Commander. Gao Shan interrupted him directly. Don't say anything yet. Listen to me first. I know you are a sentimental person, and you have feelings for Crescent Island and the veterans on the island. If you stay, at least you will still be in the same unit as them, and it will be easier to see them in the future. What's that saying again? We're all from the same root. That's enough. The colonel next to him coughed twice, reminding him, Is this never going to end? Are you treating me like I'm not here? Takasuji chuckled and said, How could that be? The colonel snorted coldly. We had an agreement before we came, so don't break the rules. The division commander specifically instructed that no one, not even a hint, is allowed to interfere with Xiaolin's decision. Comrade Xiaolin will make his own decision about where he wants to go. Of course. Takasuji chuckled while giving his subordinates a meaningful look. Li Hongfei immediately understood. Lin Hui, although I didn't go to the competition, we've all heard about your performance. You really did a great job, bringing glory not only to our company, but also to our regiment. Especially when I heard those 4 veterans from our company talk about the competition, I was deeply moved. The instructor chimed in, Lin Hui, come back. As long as you're willing to stay with our company, we'll definitely give you the best arrangement. Promotion to officer or platoon leader, it's all fine. Looking at their enthusiastic manner, Lin Hui felt somewhat at a loss and even a little unfamiliar. When the company commander picked him up for the competition, he had a dark expression on his face the whole time. She didn't even want to say another word to him. But now, they're being a bit too enthusiastic. It wasn't that Lin Hui held a grudge, but the change was so drastic that he found it difficult to adapt for a while. In the past, Lin Hui was just a cowardly soldier who wanted to coast through life. Everyone dislikes him and wishes they could kick him away. But now, Lin Hui has broken the entire division's record and won first place, suddenly becoming the most sought-after person in everyone's eyes. His head was spinning, as if the world in front of him was spinning, and a series of voices rang out in his mind. Old Ma, don't blame the veterans, don't resent the quartermaster. They just want you to become better. Lin Rue, if you don't want to stay, take off your uniform and get out of here. You have no idea what a real soldier is. Wang Yixue, you playboy, do you even deserve to be a soldier? Don't insult this uniform. Get out of here and stop causing trouble for the troops. Wang Yong and Chun Eru, Brother Hui, don't even think about getting rid of us. We will definitely meet again. Wei Yongyan, Suda was actually a good soldier. It's just a pity. Finally, all the voices converged into one. Lin Hui, you are a good soldier. Don't let life drag you down. You should fly farther and higher. At this moment, tears welled up in Lin Hui's eyes. This was the first time he felt that he was a good soldier. Lin Hui, have you made up your mind? Do you want to join our group? Takasuji's voice brought Lin Hui back to reality. He slowly raised his head and looked at the people who cared about him. He then saluted forcefully. Commander, I've made up my mind. Takasuji was overjoyed. There was hope. He said excitedly, I knew you were reliable. Li Hongfei, come on, help me pack my luggage. All right. Just as Li Hongfei was about to move, Lin Hui stopped him. Commander, the place I want to go is not in our regiment. Takasuji and the others were stunned for a moment. What does that mean? Is this a move to higher ground? Seeing his face fall, the colonel next to him immediately burst into laughter. Lin Hui looked at him too. Not here either. The colonel was dumbfounded. Then where do you want to go? At this moment, Lin Hui's gaze was unwavering. I want to get up from where I fell. Chapter 53 Returning to the Sharp Knife Company, seeing Su Dao again. Knock knock knock. A knocking sounded suddenly. Come in. Seeing Lin Rue push the door open and come in, Lin Guangyao looked surprised. What is it? Lin Rue closed the door and quickly said, Dad, I just got news from my comrades that Xiao Hui has expressed his intention to return to the 602nd Tiger Regiment, the Sharp Knife 6th Company. What? Lin Guangyao was completely dumbfounded. What's wrong with this kid? Hasn't he caused enough trouble in 602? He wants to go back? Lin Rue said with a bitter face, I don't understand either. I heard it was his strong request, and the division commander is furious. It's not easy to train a good soldier, and he has to give him away before he can even get to know him. However, I have temporarily suppressed this matter. I just wanted to ask you, what shall we mean by doing this? Why do we have to go to 602? Lin Guangyao placed the pen on the table, leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms, and looked deep in thought. After thinking for a while, he suddenly laughed. I know. This kid probably wants to get up wherever he falls down. I guess that's what you mean. Lin Rue paused for a moment, then nodded. Xiao Hui has always been stubborn since he was a child. He was forced to join the army by you. The things he did there became a knot in his heart, so after going around to so many places, he still wants to go back and finish some things. Lin Guangyao snorted but didn't say anything. Actually, he didn't know what Lin Hui was going to do in 602. If it's just to go back and show off, to discuss those who looked down on him in the past, that means the kid hasn't really changed at all. He's still a child who hasn't grown up. But what if it were another way? He looked at Lin Rue and said, "Go find Secretary Zhao and have him talk to old Wang so they can release the people." Lin Rue nodded. "Should I continue to keep an eye on him?" "Of course." Lin Guangyao glared at him. "That kid is full of bad ideas. Who knows what he's up to this time? If he causes me trouble again, this time it won't be as simple as just having him guard the border." Lin Rue smiled wryly. "Dad, can't you have a little faith in Xiaowei? I don't think he'll cause any more trouble." Lin Guangyao scoffed. "That's hard to say." Downstairs from the division headquarters, there was an SUV parked there. Lin Hui, dressed neatly and carrying his luggage, stood beside the car. The division commander walked out of the building, looked at the soldier who had broken the division's record, and dressed neatly, prepared to leave. "I was as sad as I could possibly be. But the order has already been given from above, and we can't refuse to release them." When the division commander approached, Lin Hui saluted forcefully. "I'm sorry, Division Commander, I have failed your expectations." The division commander slapped his hand away. "Stop pretending. You've got some powerful connections, haven't you? Even the commander gave you an order." Lin Hui said earnestly, "I just want to rely on my own abilities to earn everyone's recognition as a good soldier." The division commander was furious. "You were a good soldier, but now you're someone else's good soldier." "Thank you for the compliment, sir." Lin Hui straightened his chest and solemnly said, "No matter where I go, this will always be my old unit. I will never bring shame to this place, nor will I bring shame to you." The division commander was speechless. We couldn't keep them. He could only take a deep breath. "No matter what, you've been in our division and you're one of our top students. Tell me, what are your requests before you leave? I'll try my best to fulfill them." Lin Hui looked at him and asked, "Commander, can I go to the island to say goodbye to the veterans? They don't know me yet." "No." The division commander interrupted him directly. "A grown man shouldn't be so indecisive. If you should leave, then leave. If you should stay, then stay. Don't drag things out." "Yes." Although Lin Hui verbally agreed, he still felt a little regretful. Landing on the island required orders. Without the division commander's approval, he couldn't go up. He sighed helplessly as he thought of the faces of the veterans on the island. He had initially held on to a sliver of hope that he could go back and take one last look, but little did he know that his departure would truly be his final farewell. "Squad leader, veterans, take care. I'm going back to where I started. But I'm no longer that coward." After giving a final salute, Lin Hui turned and got into the car. Watching the car drive away, the division commander sighed helplessly. It took so long to lay an egg, and it was almost ready to hatch into a chick, and then you just gave it away. "Lu Song, you bastard, you have to pay me back a few bottles of Matai, or I'll never forgive you." Lin Hui quickly left the military camp by car. Not far away, Wang Yishua also rolled up her car window. Her eyes were full of curiosity. What is this guy doing in 602 all of a sudden? Isn't it fine here? Why is he causing trouble now that he's gone back? Forget it. It's better for this guy to stay away from me. At least that bet doesn't need to be fulfilled anymore. Wang Yishua chuckled. In a little over a year, he would have to retire from the army. "When you get back, I'm going to make a good laugh at you. You think you're worthy of being a general? Dream on." It was evening. Tiger Regiment, Sharp Knife 6th Company. Suda carried 2 kettles of hot water and walked briskly toward the dormitory. As soon as I entered, 2 new recruits came out to greet me. "Squad leader, it's almost time to eat. Let's go together. We have a special meal today, braised pork." Suda smiled slightly at the 2 of them. "You go first. I'll be there in a bit." "Okay, then we'll go first." The 2 recruits turned and ran away. Suda returned to the classroom and opened his water bottle. I poured half a cup of water into everyone's cup and let it cool. When they come back after dinner and are thirsty, they can just add some hot water and drink it. Suda looked around every corner of the dormitory, then went to each person's bed and turned to help them tidy up their sheets and blankets. Finally, I walked to the locker and neatly arranged the mouthwash cups, toothpaste, and toothbrushes one by one. After finishing all this, Suda took a step back, looked at all the neatly arranged cups, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Suda sighed. "I'll be leaving soon, and I really hate to leave this place." The thought of leaving soon made his nose tingle. He spent 8 years here, dedicating his youth and everything he had to the military. Actually, it wasn't that he didn't want to return to his hometown. He was just more reluctant to leave this place that he loved so deeply, a place he was even willing to give his life for. In fact, Suda has been able to clearly see the changes in himself since the last recruit training. He's matured, become more composed, and his temper has disappeared. He treated both new and veteran soldiers equally and was kind and approachable. Although he knew it was too late to do these things now, and they wouldn't help him stay on the team. However, he still wanted to atone for his mistakes. He really shouldn't have made a move at that time. That punch not only destroyed himself, but also injured the other recruits. Suda took a deep breath and suddenly remembered what his instructor had once told him. That's enough. Take off your uniform and go back to civilian life. Just don't be like you used to be. Maybe leaving is better for you. Suda shook his head and sighed helplessly. He had just turned around when he suddenly froze, as if he had been nailed to the spot. A tall, imposing figure stood at the entrance, blocking the last rays of the setting sun. He squinted desperately, trying to make out who the person in front of him was. As the figure gradually became clearer, Suda's pupils contracted sharply, and a tidal wave of emotions surged within him. He spoke in a trembling voice, Lin. Hui. At the door, Lin Hui put down his bag, straightened his chest, and saluted him forcefully. Squad leader, I'm back. Chapter 54. Even pig farmers have become top soldiers. Aren't you ashamed? Close the dormitory door. Lin Hui and Suda each carried a small stool and sat facing each other. Outside the door, a group of people hid in the corner, peeking inside cautiously. A new recruit asked curiously, Lin Hui? Why is he back? Didn't we hear he was sent to raise pigs? Another recruit frowned. I heard he has a powerful background. I bet he pulled some strings to get back here. What the hell? Has he lost his mind? Why did he have to come to our 6th company to pull strings? Has this guy lost his memory and forgotten his grudge against our squad leader? If it weren't for him, our squad leader would have been promoted to officer. Luckily, the higher-ups recognized his excellent leadership skills, so they let him stay on for a while longer. I think he's probably here to cause trouble this time. Keep a close eye on him. Don't let the squad leader get the short end of the stick. Several veterans nearby were so angry they were itching to fight. Looking for trouble? Anyone who dares to lay a hand on him will have their head knocked out of shape. An old soldier's eyes blazed with fury. Damn it. I wanted to settle scores with this bastard before, but he avoided me. Now he's actually come knocking on my door again. If I don't beat him so badly his own father wouldn't recognize him this time. I'm not a soldier led by the squad leader. Don't be impulsive, another veteran quickly advised. Why shouldn't I act impulsively? He hurt Sergeant Su so badly, and now he still dares to provoke us. If you ask me, we should drag this guy out and shoot him for half an hour. The veteran, who had just arrived, was exasperated. The matter isn't settled yet. What if this kid is here to apologize? Let's play it by ear. If he really dares to act arrogantly towards the squad leader, it's not too late for us to rush in and beat him up then. Who are you going to beat up? Just then, a cold voice suddenly rang out from behind, startling everyone. Everyone quickly saluted. Greetings, company commander. Greetings, political instructor. Zhang Jiantao glared at the group, while Wang Hai quickly made a shushing gesture. Keep your voice down. Yes. The group nodded quickly, looking like thieves. Zhang Jiantao snorted coldly. Who did you just say you were going to beat up? Lin Hui, an old soldier said indignantly. That kid ruined the squad leader's chances of getting promoted, and now he's trying to use connections to annoy people. Stop. Wang Hai raised his hand to interrupt him. Let me correct you on one point. They didn't get back through connections. Another veteran said irritably. If it's not about using connections, do you think it's about ability? We've all heard that after this kid joined the company, he was sent to raise pigs. It would be a miracle if that pig farmer had any real skills. Wang Hai smiled and said, Don't be so harsh. This time he really came back on his own merits, without relying on anyone. He did spend some time at the breeding base, and later he went to the border defense. They just won first place in the entire division's martial arts competition, which is why they made an exception and came here. First place in the martial arts competition? Him. Everyone looked on in disbelief. It's better to make them eat shit than to convince them that a coward can get first place in the whole division. Wang Hai smiled slightly. The news is true.